Cheese and crackers. We've already got 2 offline. How many more does she need? Tell you what, though. Nothing gets me more pumped for a game than Rob Zombie.
I mean, can I send the thing on Skype to her? I'm just going to put it in Skype again. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, hello.
Well, apparently she can't log into Skype either for some reason. Dang it, Amanda!
Yeah, because like I can't. I'm searching for this Amanda thing and I'm not finding it.
Let me see. Might be able to send that same link to her, like on Facebook.
Oh, friend request sent to a random person.
Hi, random person. Can we be friends? All right, send to the link. See what happens.
Isn't she in Arizona right now?
Yeah, she wanted to hang out at her mom's house. And I was like, okay, I gotta go start getting ready for TNT. But this is what happens, Amanda. Terrible internet, among other problems.
All right,
So
well,
Pam
she's
turns
in. It
into
says
an
Ermagod
unstoppable-
Amanda's here.
Excuse me.
I love how memey Discord is.
Yeah. It's like it was made for geeks.
Hello, Amanda.
She now has to configure her microphone.
Make sure it's plugged in.
Ah, who is this person? I'm gonna kick them. That's not Nari. No, I'm just kidding.
We don't know you.
You can't sit with us.
Danger, danger.
It's like, do you know how to play D&D?
Oh, you do? Okay, you can be in our Discord. Well,
There's
How
Charlie.
the hell are we able to hear Charles before we can hear you?
Me?
we can hear
Hear
Charles.
the baby.
Okay, 1 second, because I can't hear you.
Yes, we can hear him.
I'm gonna make
Had to
that
set up
Amanda's
her
ringtone.
speaker as well.
Ah.
Yeah.
Cracking my neck left to right. Flexing shoulders.
Oh, Agrabah.
So how'd you like that dwarf cleric? Huh? Pretty good guy? Might see him again. Just saying.
I mean, I like the way you roleplayed the dwarf cleric. I don't think you're gonna die here.
Ow.
So, because if you die here, we're kind of all gonna die here. So,
The fact that you said, yeah, this is the game plan, and we're walking in, we're shutting off, and it was like, it's probably not a good idea.
But everyone agreed to it.
look, it might not be a good idea, but it's my idea. No one else had another idea, so this is the one we're going with.
As
Yeah,
long
I
as
think
you
I shut
admit
my brain
it
off
was
at that
your
point.
idea. This is like a lethal weapon situation. This is your idea?
Hey, I laid it out for you guys. I told you the plan. It's not like you're not aware of it.
I didn't make a deal with the crime lord, so I'm good.
Like I said, it's mostly going to be Rafal's problem. Also, we haven't made a deal yet. That's what's going to happen about now.
No.
Oh, hello. Hey, guys.
What's up, Brodrin? How you doing, brah?
You know, bro. It's pretty chill.
Awesome,
Pretty
brah.
chill.
How are the waves? They pretty sup? Cool, cute.
Nah, brah. You can't surf in these waters. They're sharks.
Yeah, that reminds me of home.
There are some tasty swells just down the beach, though. See, I was a slave in this place called Valeria. It's just a big dam, so the water just ricochets right off of it.
Major bummer, dude.
Yeah, but they had nice, tight little curls you could easily ride, bruh.
Oh, that's nice, man.
God, that was totally
Australian and Californian, Ryan?
Why not?
Yeah, the two places you find surfers.
I know. I was just making sure I heard that right.
I secretly wanted to kill Ryan's character on the man's game.
See, Amanda, this is why you put Discord on your phone, so you never have to worry about it again.
The one shot was so funny just because, like, I was the only one that made a character that did any damage.
Yep. Boy, we got their feelings hurt.
Hey, it's okay. Ishii got there.
Yeah, it's his story, not ours. We wouldn't want to steal the glory from him.
I wanted to pull like Ryan right into it. Like, go check it out, dude. Like, seriously, go test it.
So how did Amanda do?
Oh,
Well,
it was so
since she
chaotic.
can't hear us.
Pretty good.
Yeah, she did great. I had
Great.
fun.
Amanda did awesome.
And
Little
I got
baby
to
Charles
introduce you
was like
guys.
going ape shit. So
It was hilarious.
Oh yeah, the fact that
Because,
she
like,
was
once we
able to
started
pull it off.
winning, Charles started crying.
Oh, no.
But, like, when Amanda was, like, winning, no, now we cannot hear you.
It's like, oh Ted, you're gonna die, and she started fucking laughing about it. I was like, what?
Goes to show you what kind of person she is.
Oh shit, she can hear us now. Stop talking shit.
Shh, 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 shh. Amanda.
There
we hear
we
Charles.
go.
It?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, that was it. Yes, I can hear
Hey.
you.
Which would make sense as to why I couldn't hear you guys.
Yeah, that was it.
Like changing everything. I was like, oh, it's on mute. So there we go. Nope.
We tend to be a lot quieter when we're muted.
Yeah.
Let's not play with that cord.
Yeah, so we weren't talking shit about nothing.
That's all good.
All right. So when we last left our band of intrepid adventurers, oh man, let's see. We started off with the party confronting an individual that had just attempted to flee after briefly conversing with Bale in Thieves' Cant. And upon being captured by the party, he was able to inform them that he was sent to collect the bounty put on Bale's head by none other than Brodrin DeVargo. The party set him free with a message to deliver to the King of Spiders and headed back home, I believe, at that time. Whereupon some of them had some awkward dreams, to say the least, but wound up, for the most part, most of them waking back up. One of their own members had followed the Dr. Thomas Wells back to the Castle MistHaven, and in the process of his own investigation, overheard a number of screams and thrashings from the Queen's bedchamber, where Agramar found the Queen in the midst of a nightmare, clawing at her face, her arms, her skin, and those wounds were slowly healing themselves back up. And as Agramar and the Doctor and Sabrina Marin all kind of combined, were able to secure the Queen in place for some time, so that she was no longer harming or injuring herself. She then spoke with Agramar and kind of filled him in on what's been going on since she kind of took over the mantle of Queen. And Agramar returned to the party fairly exhausted the next morning, and they were setting out each in search of their own tidbits of information here and there. They made it to the Great Library of MistHaven, where a number of topics were looked into. They found information about a long-lost mythological library in the sands of a believed oasis.
I do want to check that out at some point.
They learned that the astronomers believe that the surface of MistHaven is itself a very flat surface. And there are 2 moons that rotate round and round, despite Agramar's claim of seeing a third.
I think it makes the story more believable. The moon was split in half. So there, I was right.
I mean, hey, in my world there is an invisible moon, so it's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so the party eventually made their way roundwards to Brodrin DeVargo, as they seemed to think it necessary to deal with this problem head on, rather than continuing to allow him to send assassins after the party again and again, with the risking that they might eventually succeed in their mission.
Well, kind of. The intent for going to Brodrin DeVargo is to find reverence.
That was based off of a note that Agramar was given by Rafal's mother, yes. You
She
know,
is now mom to me, too.
That is a much larger part of the reason we're going there. Like, while I love Bale and all, like, back burner.
But nevertheless, it was the idea that everyone kind of agreed upon, and so we are now picking back up at the farthest back ship on Eel's End, back in the captain's quarters, where an individual garbed in dark leathers with swarms upon swarms of spiders just crawling all over his person as he is stroking what looks to be a reddish purplish scaled house drake in his lap as the party walk in on Brodrin DeVargo with no less than a dozen of his enforcers in the midst of card games and dice games at the tables on either side from the looks of it.
Yes,
He began stroking his house drake
action to make my cape billow.
as Fall's cape begins to billow, says, "Yes, come in, come in. I've been expecting you." And he, with a waft of his arm, he shoots out the number 2, and one of the nearby enforcers gets up from a table and drops 2 sacks of audible coin at the base of your feet.
No.
My dear friends, you have my sincerest of gratitudes.
I'm going to stop you right there, Brodrin. I think you've got the wrong idea.
Well,
Bell will look around for exit points and windows and any.
Bale, roll me a perception check.
While I'm aware of the price you've put on Bale's head, there are more pressing matters to attend to. I have come to believe that you may have been doing the right thing in trying to save the life of Trinia Sabor. And it has come to my attention that a certain tiefling by the name of Reverence has been seen in your area of the docks. I come in search of this tiefling and come seeking your aid.
You say you come seeking my assistance. Well, then I am afraid I'm going to be the first to have to apologize and note that you are going to be accepting at least one of those pouches, as it seems the information that you inquired about is going to be quite lacking, after all. As the Strider boy that you asked about, it seems that he has expired some time ago, slain down on the streets by a motley crew. Seems he was attempting to collect the bounty by one Boyle, head of the Vale, if you're familiar with it.
Indeed I am.
So I'm afraid whatever questions you have about Kindor Thok, he will be unable to answer any of them.
I appreciate your honesty.
As for details of this other individual that you come inquiring about, you claim that you aren't here to collect the bounty on Bale, yet time and again he has failed me, and yet he still continues to bespoil my presence with his ugly mug.
I do say, sir, time and again, why would you have given me this opportunity to return this person of interest if I am unworthy?
What makes this a person of interest to you?
We believe that Reverence is the one that is responsible for the death of the king.
And Bale, as you are kind of surveying about the room, you notice several lengthy windows, kind of like like if you've seen like Peter Pan, those on the back of Captain Hook's ship, those lengthy windows that are in the back of the captain's quarters. You know the ones I'm talking about?
Yep.
There are a number of those lined up behind his kind of makeshift throne, but there are no windows on the left or right walls, and there's a stairwell that leads down a floor kind of to your right, a couple of tables behind you, and what looks to be a noticeable, well, I say noticeable, it's noticeable with your keen eyes, but what looks to be some sort of trap door directly beneath you, where you and Rafal are standing.
So if we're not in action right now, I will nudge him and me out of that way.
If you'd like to describe how you're trying to nudge him while everyone's eyes are upon you.
You said it was Rafal that was next to me?
Yeah.
I assume we're dead center, so left or right doesn't matter.
Are you just like pushing him? Or stepping into him again and again and again?
Yeah, I will guide him. I will push my body into it.
You say this tiefling is the killer of the king. The word about the street is that it was the girl Trinia.
We have been actively investigating and are more reliable than the word on the street. We've even had access to the castle and information from various sources.
Did my perception see anybody else sitting on this kind of trap?
Not that you're aware of. I mean, it's you and Rafal that stepped up to speak with Brodrin. Agramar and Nari seem to be hanging back a little bit. But now that you are circling about or at least pushing Rafal to one side of the room.
Do I notice anybody reacting to that?
You can roll an insight check. I mean, nobody's like noticeably drawing blades or coming to arms because you're pushing Rafal to the side. So let me get this straight then. You don't want the bounty being offered for Bale, but you'll trade him in exchange for information about this reverence.
Rafal's gonna look at Bale, who's like pushing him for some reason. I mean, on some level, that would just be like the easiest thing to do. But Bale has decided to turn over a new leaf in his life in honor of his brother. I would like to see how that turns out for him. In exchange, I would owe you a favor. Nothing too sinister, as I do have a certain moral code that I will not cross, but as one who has the potential to inherit the crown, I think you could see how that would be in your favor.
Indeed, indeed.
In exchange, I would ask that you spare Bale's life.
This is
And you can also keep the gold that I've paid you already.
peculiar offer, to say the least. Almost tantalizing enough that it almost sounds as if it were some sort of a setup.
I assure you that
I'll
I'm
take you
different
up
than the other.
on this offer of yours. In exchange, I grant you all the opportunity to prove Bale's heart is in the right place. As it's come to my attention that there's going to be an auction in 3 days' time, and there's a number of items that are of particular interest to me, and due to my current status, let's just say not a whole lot of auctioneers welcome me in their presence. So, if I could acquire a number of invitations, I think you and your friends are seeking an opportunity to prove yourselves. Return to me with what I ask for, and I'll give you the information you seek.
Timeline-wise, with Chernia's trial, is 3 days too long?
It's possible that it'll be cutting it close. Trials can last anywhere from a day to months long, presumably because of the more complex nature of this case and the more seriousness of it. It should last some time.
Bale is looking at Rafal and giving like a slight no. But, yeah, Rafal's de facto leader. So he's like, my opinion, no.
Can I do an insight check on Brodrin?
Sure.
$16.
16. As you're kind of just following the creases about his face and kind of staring into his eyes to get a glimpse about the inner workings, like what's going on behind the scenes, essentially. You can
like really size up the man, you know?
You can absolutely tell that he seems to know a lot more than what he's letting on. But he seems sincere in his offer. Effectively, at the very least, it seems that he's not bluffing. He seems to have some information.
I thought he did. All right. Rafal will respond and he'll say, what is the nature of the items?
All arcane supplements of varying degrees. They didn't give too many specifics as they were hoping for more surprise, but some of my sources have been more than worth their gold, I think. Among the items coming to auction is a fairly well-crafted arcane instrument of the, what is his name? Of the House Fwymerdin Cittern themselves, his own Mac instrument. Bit posh for my tastes. Among the others include boots of elven kind, eyes of charming, a necklace of adaptation, a stone of good luck, a staff of the python, as well as whatever surprises they are hoping to reveal later in the afternoon. But the item that is piquing my interest is that necklace of adaptation.
Are you wishing this to be a legal acquisition or a get it no matter what?
Well, my friend Bale, I think this is a more resolute opportunity for you to spread those wings of yours. Prove your worth, show that you really have turned a new leaf. You can pursue this item by whatever means you think necessary, Bale.
Who are the current owners of these items?
House Arcona are the ones putting on the auction. It's going to be a number of nobles invited on the guest list. But I can assure you they can afford the loss.
Can I do a history check on that?
Sure, just roll me a straight intelligence even. History probably higher if you're proficient.
History is higher, right? Proficient in history.
Yeah.
19.
19. You know, the Arcona family is effectively the ones in charge of trade in this city, like all these spice trades and the like. So they themselves are very much wealthy and fairly well established, like kind of like the East India Trading Company kind of a thing, where it's like everyone goes to them. They basically run everyone out of business here.
In terms of politics, how corrupt are they?
You know that their ties, because of their trade, have to be kind of buried deeply into both here locally in MistHaven, but as well as the Empire of Averston as well. So they're a vital ally for either side to have.
Okay, and then if so if Rafal was to take power, he would need them on his side, or he would need to break up their monopoly.
Sounds about right.
Well, we could start breaking right now. Rafal's gonna turn and look at Agrimar, and he's gonna say, "What do you think?"
Well, it seems like he wants to do this. Well, it doesn't seem like he wants to pay for it. You can owe one entrepreneur, and he kind of nods to Brodrin. Favor for one, for favor for another. I don't see a lose-lose in this opportunity. That's, I think at our current circumstances, we should, side with Brodrin.
Nari, thoughts?
Good answer.
Nari's the strong silent type. All right.
She's trying to talk, I could tell. Ryan, would my blindness have receded by now?
This is the same day, I believe.
Well, I stayed up overnight, so...
Yeah.
I was blinded the day before, technically. I wasn't sure if it was a 24-hour thing.
So you're still waiting on a long rest for that, then.
Oh, I have the long rest of your... Oh, God.
No. This is the day he's just exhausted because he came back from the Queen this night.
Correct. Night. And I didn't get to sleep off my blindness.
Wait, so you were blind the entire time you were interacting with the Queen?
Like partially blind. Enough to see.
I know you got a short rest.
No, I didn't get any long rest. Because we went from the inn, I followed the doctor, and I stayed up all night with the Queen and doing the investigation. So I didn't get to sleep at all.
Amanda, are you there?
She's trying. You're muted on something.
That thing is lighting up, but I cannot hear her.
At least type out your answer for now.
We could. at first.
Can't hear you now. Can't hear you, Peach.
Yeah, if we do any kind of combat type things, I am pretty well boned. She wants to get the items. So it's majority rules, right?
Well, Rafal turns to Bale. He says, Bale, it's your decision.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey!
Okay. That's so stupid. I was like talking and I was like, is that kind of going along with everything? So I was like, oh yeah, they can hear me. No big deal.
I blame that on the house then entirely.
Well, then, hold on a second. Let's. Okay, so, Nari, thoughts?
And Nari said she walks into this room and shoots Brodrin immediately.
Sounds about right.
Can't change anything.
I would be very interested in looking into these items. I think it is something I personally would like to look at as well. I am with Brodrin in the fact that, Bale is maybe not the best person for some jobs. However, I don't think it is worth killing him over. Clearly, I am still with him. He is still here. So I think that would be a fair trade. If that is exactly what we were happening, I was a little bit in and out staring at that painting on the wall over there, no big deal. But
Great. All right, Bale. It's up to you. What do you think? Can you do it?
Should we kill you or no?
No, I think we can proceed without me dying.
Real quick, because I kind of was, having fun. Did he? I could just ask you. I'm Nari. I don't care. So you say that you do have more information regarding Pernia, and that is why we have to get these items for you, so we can get the more information that you have currently.
Think of it as an opportunity for your friend to prove that his allegiances lie where they say they lie.
Oh. So, you will give us information on Trenia if we get these items for you?
That's what I'm offering.
Okay, that's okay. I thought I heard that, but I was distracted. So.
All right. You got a deal, Brodrin.
Rafal, you shake his hand. W.
And Brodrin goes to stand up, and as he does so, he just kind of drops the house drake off of his lap that doesn't fly away, but instead just hits the ground at his feet and starts to kind of scamper away as just these swarms of spiders start slowly just crawling off of him, wave after wave, and kind of heading back up towards his seat and continuing to swarm about there as he steps down a couple of stairs down to Rafal's level and outstretches the palm of his hand.
I don't know if Nari already has. Can I do some sort of check to see if I would recognize that sort of maybe if it's an artifact he has, or if it is like a arcane power over creatures?
You could roll me a nature check, probably.
Sure. Okay, let me open my character sheet, which I forgot.
The one that I'm not proficient in.
Let's see. Nature. A 5.
You have no idea.
That's cool.
Rafal will stretch his hand out and give Brodrin a good hefty shake.
He shakes it, and all the while, he's not breaking eye contact with Bale, as he's just kind of grinning.
So, this does mean that the bounty is off of Bale, correct?
For now, we must succeed first.
Okay, so like we
Your
won't
friend
interrupt
seems to
it halfway
understand.
through with people in food carts or anything.
Now then, what information do you need from me? How can I help you to help me?
Oh, you mean about the job? Well, okay. Where's the auction being held?
On one of the Arcona's estate, just off of Mulberry Lane.
I know that lane. We've been around there before, have we not? Don't know why it sounds familiar. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I'm just making
Where is Mulberry Lane? I don't know.
Effectively the noble side of the city.
Oh, so it's like where Annabelle's place was?
Kind of ish.
Or is it East Shore?
Kind of like over here ish.
Okay,
Yeah.
so like near the castle. Okay. And the auction's being held in 3 days?
Yes. Sunset on the 3rd day from now.
That reminds me of the Little Mermaid. Well, this went, a lot better than I had imagined in my head. So that's very good.
Do you know where the items are being held in the meantime? Are they at the estate?
I'm afraid I don't know where they're going to be before nor after the auction. As it seems we're going to be working with a very specific window of opportunity.
Do you have anybody on the inside? For example, servants, anybody like that?
I do have one turncloak who managed to get away with some of my items. If you come across him, I could throw an additional bounty in for his assured demise. But unfortunately, because of this, I was unable to get any of my men further.
Okay, what is his name?
Nicholas.
Nicholas.
I did no such thing. Do we know who's doing the security for the event?
I know that they have managed to hire a couple of thugs that have proven themselves as bodyguards over the years. Their capabilities are nothing to write home about, but they are also known to be fairly well equipped and versed in the arcane arts, that is, the Arconas themselves. So one would suspect they could have a couple of arcane tricks to look out for, in addition to whatever bodyguards they have.
Who do we have? Do we know who is going to what am I trying to ask? Who's like in charge of the auction, like specific person wise?
I believe that the Lady Amanda Arcona will be supervising the events of the night herself.
You're gonna have to type that one out. Oh, there we go. Vamanda Arcona. Okay. Anybody else have any questions? I'm the only one talking.
No, I'm like directionless.
We're planning a heist, guys.
Dang it, Amanda.
And so,
Hello?
which was?
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you now.
This is so stupid. I have to keep changing the output. Okay. I was going to ask about this Nicholas fellow. Do we have a description as to what he looks like? Tall, short, fat, small, color hair. You know, if we come across your old companion, you know, how do we know it's him? So we know
Wait
to
a
take him down.
Rafal's gonna keep quiet because he doesn't want to do that, but he's gonna let her
You know,
talk.
it's interesting, you know. I mean, just in case.
You just see a look of disappointment on Rafal's face.
He has interesting items in his possession, Rafal. If he stole them, we should probably put them in the rightful place, wouldn't you say?
Yes, you should be able to pick him out from his incredibly well-balanced pair of scimitars that he stole off of me, as well as the grayskin cloak that he wears.
Is
Does he have a giant panther that he walks around with?
He's a half-elf, but no.
Son of Dritz!
do these items have specific, you know, abilities that you could maybe warn us of before we confront him? If we get the chance or opportunity to, of course.
Well, if you are to confront him, I would suggest being discreet about it. As much as I despise the man, he is still relatively gifted with a blade and quite dexterous in combat. My thoughts precisely. I would advise against trying to poison him. And if at all possible, I would advise trying to confront him in an open area.
Would advise against or for in an open area?
For confronting him in an open area.
Okay, that is helpful. So, since we are on the terms of bargaining, per se, right now, you know, is there maybe perhaps information you have regarding a recent associate of the Queen who has been known to have fled the area? Is that information
This associate have a name?
I believe my colleagues knew her as Lady Annabelle. That is. Yes?
Is this another favor you're asking me for?
No, more like just a curiosity if that, since we're getting information from you, if that is just more information we could add onto the pile, you know, maybe depending.
Well, my dear, perhaps I should warn you of an old MistHaven folklore that it was curiosity what killed the cat.
I've heard.
That was great.
Says to the cat lady. That's great. I love it.
I have heard this, yes, indeed.
It's okay, Nari. You've got 9 lives. Anyways. Do we have a layout of the building?
I have details regarding the circumference of it. As to the interior, I am somewhat more limited. I can tell you that the estate itself is surrounded by roughly a 20-foot high wall of stone. There's a brief walk space up to the front doors, presumably for the guards to catch line of sight upon whomsoever is approaching. There's more than likely going to be a number of guards posted at the front, accepting invitations.
Okay, so this is an auction we're going to?
This is an auction you're going to.
And we are trying to decide if we're going to steal the items instead of buying them from the auction?
I leave that entirely at your discretion.
I kind of look more to Rafal, seeing that he's kind of asking these questions without casing the joint.
Let me ask you something, Nari. How much money do you have?
Well, I just know
I'd say who's providing the money?
Because I don't have the coffers of a noble household behind me, do you?
Well, I know someone that we are in cohorts with who we are investigating the death of her dear husband, so maybe she'd be willing to help us with some funds for a certain project to get.
Maddie just went silent.
Nope, the queen found out and disconnected.
Probably
her.
for the
She's just
best.
Like, shut the fuck up.
There's the internet.
Government
Dropped
shut
her
her
right
off.
out of the Discord call.
As soon as she started talking about Crown paying for something.
Cut the mic, cut the mic.
This switch gets deleted, we'll know something's up.
But Rafal will respond to her and say, I don't think we should trust the queen with this information.
Oh. So we have 3 days. Ooh.
Yes, we need to case the place. Brodrin, did you say you already had invitations?
I have managed to acquire a few invitations, yes.
So will we all be able to get in?
How many will you be needing?
4.
I'll see what I can do. I've got 2 at present. I don't suppose any of you are gifted when it comes to forgeries.
Nari, are you getting good at forgery?
No, I don't believe so.
No, I don't think anyone's gifted.
A particular wizard that we left in a graveyard is, though.
There we go.
2 at a minimum, but possibly more. We can plan around that.
Probably plan around it.
Well, if you must
Okay,
plan
guys,
around
you
it,
can-
there
well,
was
you
a
must
side
my
entrance.
plan is to figure out a way to put you in a portable hole for 10 minutes, get you inside, and get you out.
Okay,
I can
I'm
hold
not
my
getting
breath
in
for
the
a
hole.
really long time.
It's risky, but possible.
I'm not getting
There's
in the hole.
also the servants' entrance where deliveries and the like are accepted, though the
That's a good
hours
idea.
that it is open I am unsure of, or even if it opens at all. Due to the upcoming auction, they might be stepping up security.
So we have some options. We could try to get hired as security, or get hired as servants, and that way we could be able to get inside. So a couple of us could get jobs, and a couple of us could use invitations.
What profile is this auction?
What?
How profile is this auction? Is it
How high
like
profile
just
is
a
it?
regular auction, a state sale, or is it-
Nobility exclusively.
so jobs at the last minute or and they say?
Not necessarily if they're going to be beefing up security or something like that.
Just because my internet is shit today, did you guys hear my idea of the person to ask about money?
Yes, and Rafal responded to that and said, I don't think we should trust the queen with this information.
Oh, I didn't know we didn't trust the queen anymore. I apologize.
It is something that kind of crossed my mind last night, Nari. It's okay.
Yes, I mean, I had weird dream too. I understand. Oh, that gives me a really good idea.
Tell me about it later. As he kind of looks around at the present company. Okay, let's keep thinking. Okay, so we don't have okay, so we need a layout of the estate. Okay, so I'm going to make a list of things we need. We need a layout of the estate.
Don't you fall.
We need to know the guard schedules.
Security detail. Do we need to know who? I mean, I guess they already told us who is in charge of the
We have a week or a day?
We have 3 days.
2 days if we're gonna steal it.
Or if we're gonna buy it also, 3 days either or.
We don't have that kind of money.
All right, so who is sitting and watching for the schedule?
Well,
we can't ask
So
anybody.
effectively what we can do is have this kind of initial brainstorming thing for you guys to have ideas about the heist. Then we can cut to effectively like the day of. And we can go back and you guys can tell us what you did attempting to learn X, Y, or Z about this place or about this information, who's going to be there, what's going where, kind of a thing. And I'm gonna set out what do they call them?
I will say this: I, at the very least, need to take a nap.
Yeah, I do believe we should definitely rest,
Well, I mean, you can rest while the rest of us do work.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'd like to be able to see. It'd be great.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's definitely something.
That's 3 days.
Right. So you guys have a couple of days. So those who need to run any last minute errands are able to do so. Go shop for any equipment could do so.
Well, we need
even rest back up.
We need to come up with a plan. Like,
right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're starting with the brainstorming here.
Can we say we brainstorm at the inn so we're not in front of Brodrin?
Well, we need his information.
Well, he gave us all the information.
Not if we have more questions.
Well, ask your questions then.
Well, we need to come up with a plan, but if I have more questions, we need to be able to ask them.
Fine.
But I agree. Definitely not playing in front of Roger.
So
everyone is going to be given what's called a contingency point. And so effectively, the day of the heist, while you guys are going through and doing your thing, it's basically kind of like a retcon point that everyone has 1 to spend. And at any point during the heist, you can kind of hit pause and be like, all right, so I know I'm handing these invitations over to the guard. And so I sought out the top of the line thief guy who was very good at duplicating these things. So these things look legit. And I'll be like, okay, so if that's your contingency point, you're going to have advantage on this roll then.
Okay.
So effectively, kind of like an inspiration with regards to the heist to help you kind of a retcon if something happens in the moment.
That's nifty.
Got an idea how to deal with the item, but other than that.
All right. In transition, or where is that?
Because we need to figure out where they're holding the items.
Perhaps there might be, a sewage grate that is near the building. I have heard that people can travel through the sewers easier undetected than through the normal streets.
Can I roll for anything below where we're at?
Below Eel's End or below this location?
Below this location or anything. I don't know. Do we have a general idea where it's coming from? The goods.
I mean, no one has a general idea of the sewers.
Yeah, no idea where they are.
I have a good idea of the sewers. I just don't know where.
You don't know how they'd be getting there, though. Bale, effectively what you've been told is that the items are going to be at this location on this date.
Okay, you see the movie Shooter
Yeah.
with Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he goes to journal points, and it's like, all right, how is the president going to be killed? So
Yeah.
Bale will go to
We're not doing that
certain
part yet.
points.
We're still asking questions right now.
You're still talking to the guy who pulled up to his cabin saying there's one more mission.
Like we're still planning it out. We'll get to the executing the plan here in a second, but we need to come up with a plan first. But Bale casing out the sewers and stuff and doing that stuff can definitely be part of the plan.
So I want to try something. I don't have any idea if it is going to work or be, useful in any way at all. But since Brodrin knows exactly what these items look like, and I just
Did he want all of those items or just the one item?
Yes.
He wanted the necklace especially.
Right.
In the necklace, but if we get the others, that's just all good for us. I do want to make sure before I start talking, you guys can all hear me, yes?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
So just bear with me. I want to make sure, is like Brodrin the only one in the room right now, or are there a whole bunch of guards?
No, there's like 13 other people in here.
So, yeah, fuck it. You guys can sit in here and watch. I want to give this a shot, so just bear with me, guys. Have any of you guys ever meditated before?
Yes, I have.
And you focus really hard on an item? So, or like an idea or something, you get a little bit better acquainted with it. Since we have no idea where this item is, I have a friend of mine, and I would really like to see if perhaps we could, sit in a circle or just sit in the same room. And if you guys would join me in this endeavor, I'm going to attempt to see if I could connect to my friend. Perhaps he would be able to help us in this venture. But I really need your complete cooperation, for he does not really respond to people who don't 100% agree with what I'm doing, if you know what I'm saying. That's a lovely sound. Thank you. Are you guys with me?
Yes.
So, insight checking me?
Is she telling us the whole truth about what she's doing?
I believe I am. Yeah, I mean, she'll continue to explain it, but I mean, she's not trying to like bluff you guys in any way or anything. She completely plan could possibly work if it works out in the way she thinks it will or hopes it will.
All right, Nari, I've got your back.
Okay, so here's what we have to do, and you just have to bear with me. I have traveled to many, many, many locations, and I have seen many different things. I have recently been reconnected with a friend who has saved my life, and unknowns to me, I did not know his name, which I learned in the society that the name is what gave him his power. It was said that if the people believed in him enough, he would give the people what they desired, and in return, they would, respect him as who he is. So I'm hoping if you guys could sit with me, I could perhaps try and speak with him, and then maybe through all of your energies reaching out to him, you guys, he could maybe perhaps help us getting maybe a vision as to where this item possibly is. It has recently been brought to my knowledge that his name is Kronos, and his name brings a lot of power to him. So I need you all to focus really hard so we can draw his energy into the room.
They'll
That's
just
all
totally
right
give us
with you,
family and
Broderick.
support.
Well, that's a little frightening, don't you think?
Wasn't Agrimar just telling us about Kronos?
Yes, I was.
I believe he's a very good person. I mean, if he could help us in something like this, you know, perhaps there's more to the story than meets the dreams, you know?
Is this Kronos friend of yours some sort of diviner or wizard?
He is an entity that saved my life once, and so I owe him a lot. But I am sure
But
he's a great
you're
man.
making use of him to hunt down what you lost?
Well, I didn't lose it, really. You did. But I'm just trying to show him that I am trying to get more people to hear him. And if this is something someone truly desires and he helps us with it, then perhaps that's something, you know, to show him that I am actually trying to get people to hear him. Because he has a voice, he just doesn't know how to use it yet. So I'm trying to reach him. Like I said, this could not work at all, and that's fine. But I figured I'd give it a shot since, you know, we're shooting holes in the dark right now. You know, we're fall of all people is thinking of robbing a place. I've never thought I'd hear that, but here we are.
Nari, go ahead and roll me a persuasion.
I am thoroughly confused at what you're trying to do here, so I'm interested.
She's literally trying to birth a new religion.
No.
Oh my god! What? You are on fire!
Right? All those natural 20s in my game. And,
It just continues, man.
I'm persuaded.
If you think it'll help progress us along.
Sure, but I think it is worth a shot, you know?
He whistles, and everybody that's somewhat distracted by the card games and dice behind you, everybody just stands up from their table and starts circling around the party.
Oh, lots of energy. I can feel it. This is very exciting. I mean, we could stand or sit down, however you want to do it. I've never done this before, so I have no idea.
You're not instilling a terrible amount of confidence.
Rafal kind of shoves Agrimar and says, help her out.
I would if I knew what she was doing.
Just
all
treat
right.
it like any other ritual.
Yep. All right, everyone, sit down and focus yourself on Nari here. She'll be the conduit for whatever she's trying to do. If you have any divine abilities, and concentrate through her like you would on your normal spellcasting. And I will do what I can to assist. And I'll bend down to Nari and I'll whisper to her, "Are you trying to cast the spell Locate Object by chance?"
I am not. No, like this is completely a shot in the dark. I have no idea if this will do anything at all. It's kind of just more a prayer of anything. He answered me once before when I was in great need, much greater need than this, but I think he might be attracted to the energies, the light of the people seeking his name here.
Right.
The place last we spoke.
Well, you better make a really good show of it, because if it doesn't work, we're all probably gonna die. All right, everyone, get ready.
Okay. So Nari is going to take her spear out, and she's gonna like stand kind of in the middle of the room. I guess why not? Let's do it that way. She's going to have this spear, and she's going to just hold it out in front of her on the ground, kind of, like standing spear. And she's going to call out, eyes closed, focusing super hard on that dream she had, thinking of the darkness with the little sparks of light slowly approaching. And as she speaks aloud, she's going to say, "My dear friend Kronos, I am trying to find you in this dark, dark time. I hope you can see the light of all these people who wish to seek for your guidance in this time of question. We are looking for a specific item, and we were hoping you may be able to guide us with your that you have that has been written about you. If you are listening, we are reaching out to you, dear friend Kronos. So if you hear us, a sign. She's just gonna sit there quietly and listen and focus really, really, really hard and think about the dream she had about how super dark it was, but like the light, and she's imagining all these people around her are little lights that are growing brighter and brighter and brighter. And that's the vision she's going for in her head to see if it does anything.
Nari, go ahead and roll me a religion check.
Can I give her advantage on this in some way? Because that was fucking inspiring.
How would you like to try and assist Nari in this?
Rafal is going to...
This is like false god shit right here. I gotta be
For
careful what I do.
Yeah.
Friend!
Can I just like expend a use of my channel divinity to give her advantage? Like I channel divine energy to fuel magical effects. That's what it does, right?
I'll allow it, sure.
Oh, really?
And
Yeah, you know what? I'll do it as well. That sounds like a great idea. I see Rafal. Actually, no, I won't. Never mind.
Nari,
I've already been smitten once. I don't want to get smitten again.
in the past, you've seen Rafal draw his blade and imbue it with some radiant energy that caused it to begin glowing white. Very similar to the lights that you saw in that dream you had. The tip of your spear begins to glow that same color shortly after Rafal lets loose a prayer of his own, kind of under his breath. As you kind of hold your spear tip forward, it begins to glow as you close your eyes and you focus. And your mind kind of turns back to the dream that you were having, and you find yourself drifting through the astral space under that kind of thick, muggy, viscous substance. And the only light you can see before you is the tip of that spear. And in the distance, another light begins to shine, almost a kind of greenish hue to this second light in the distance. And it begins to shine, and it looks as though it's beginning to move closer.
I try and approach it if I can in my mind.
As you start stepping forward, you find no ground to step upon. You start kind of thrusting your arms, trying and failing to swim your way forward. You find yourself just kind of stuck where you are, unable to hold anything to propel you forward. But that light is noticeably approaching.
Okay, well then I will focus on the light on the spear and like kind of wave it if I can, trying to.
You start waving your spear, and as you do so, the faster you wave it, the dimmer the light across the tip of it becomes. And it starts fading and fading until you're left in just complete darkness, and the sight of that very distant green glow begins to fade from your sight as well.
Do I see her brow furrow?
You
on the
would
outside?
not on this one, no.
So she just is standing there serene.
But as you're watching her, her eyes blink back open. And Nari, the tip of your spear is continuously illuminated by that channel divinity that Rafal put on it for the next minute or so.
not as inspiring as I was hoping it could be.
Well, what did you find out? Where is it?
Does a green light mean anything to you? Perhaps, maybe? Does this necklace have a green glow to it at all? Anything
You
green?
mean like a lantern or a torch or a crystal? What sort of a green glow?
Or like you see my spear, how it's glowing. Imagine that, but more of a green. Does that mean anything to you? Is there a spot that resembles green? Glowing green. That's all I got. I apologize. I told you I'd never done this before, but closer. It should be.
Is that supposed to mean something to your friends? He says,
Paul
kind of looking
just
around
kinda
at the number of
shakes
his
his
own men
head.
that are just rugging. Yeah.
Might just have to dig deeper. But I think we're on the right track. So we will find this necklace for you.
No harm done.
You said that you don't know, you do know exactly what it looks like, or no? I mean, you know it does the adaptation, but
I've not seen it before, no.
okay. Well, that's good. Okay. I'm just going to make my spear disappear back into its magical existence box.
Bale, how comfortable are you with if there's any locks, like a safe or something, with cracking it?
I'm confident. Beyond that, I'm not sure. Not beyond magical, but physical. I could pretty much do. I think I could push it.
Then have you all the tools you require?
I do now.
Trying to think, what else do we need to know?
We know the security, we know the layout of the building, we know possible escape routes in the sewers. So we could possibly forge things to get in.
What?
We talked about, maybe possibly forging indentations or something.
Oh. Right.
I think that might be it.
Yes, we'll have to plan. We'll return to our inn and plan. We'll send.
Send
We'll let you know
word
if
if
we
you have
need
any
any
further
other
questions.
You say send bail if we have further questions?
Send word.
So
Okay, I was like,
I think
really?
he's sick. I think he's sick of seeing Bale.
Right.
Thank you.
Righto. And Bell's first lead out.
All right. Well, we will spend the rest of the day planning, and we'll see to it that we retrieve this item for you. In exchange, you will give us information about the whereabouts of Reverence.
And you'll owe me that favor.
How could I forget that part?
Very well, then I'll see you all later.
Yes, okay, well, have a good day.
And he just kind of gestures towards the door that Bale left wide open as he quickly rushed out of there.
Oh yeah, we'll follow Bale.
I try to follow where he's pointing, but I can't really see it, so...
So Bale, where are you going? How far are you going? How far are you storming out?
You bailed?
Oh no, I'll roll right out to the front door and awareness of 360 and waiting for the others. Like right at the dock.
All right, so disembarking the ship and making your way back up the dock, you're still catching the eyes and attention of several of those enforcers about Eel's End. Some of Brodrin's guys noticeably watching you specifically. Before one by one your party members come up behind you, and they seem to lose their interest in you almost.
Oh yeah, come get your money. But I think your boss wants me to do something bigger. Otherwise, sit tight.
Bill, are you egging these people on to kill you? That's not very smart.
Yeah, Rafal just kind of grabs Bale and just gets out of there. He's like, I'm going through all this effort to save you, and you're going to do this?
But no, roll me an intimidation check.
Oh, Jesus.
It is in your hands now.
You notice as some of these guys start to kind of dip around corners and the like as members of your party show up, but some of them looked to be in the process of loading their own ammunition before those footsteps were heard behind you. As it seems that having just left the head guy, orders haven't quite gone out yet. Nevertheless, you find no trouble as the party leaves Eel's End.
All right, Brodrin, new deal. I'll get it done. You
You're
turkey
already
sit tight.
gone, Bill. He can't hear you anymore.
Shut
Yeah,
up.
we're in the street now.
Shut up. They don't know that.
Yeah, they do. They're not in there either. Oh, Bill, how much did you drink today?
How much? How much more? Let's go. Come on.
It's morning.
Like dead time means anything. Come on.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, we get the fuck out of there.
All right, where's the party heading? Back to the inn to plan?
Yeah. Yeah, we go back to the end of the plan.
Yes, we could be on our way to the into plan, but maybe perhaps we could look into previous auctions to see where they maybe hold the items. I mean, this can't be the only auction they've ever had in the history of MistHaven. Perhaps there's a record saying items were held at this place, or this is a known location for items to be held because that's where they always put the items before they send them to the auction house. Maybe we could go to the town hall and research auctions and, maybe...
Nari, I know that you're not well versed in city life, but would you like your own belongings and where you stash them paraded around the entire city?
No, but if it's city property, wouldn't it be in the records of the city?
It's private property.
Oh, I thought
the family owns all the items to be auctioned. Brodrin wants the necklace.
Okay, I missed that part. I'm sorry. Okay,
so
I thought it was like a big old thing.
My guess is that the family either has something in the Great Bank of MistHaven, or on a personal residence they have a very large vault/safe situation. Would be my guess.
The only one who's like really rich that could buy it for us, huh? This could really put us on the wrong side of the law very fast.
Don't worry. These people are not exactly saints. Besides, we need to do this to save Trinia and bring justice to the King's killer.
Well, the greater good.
The city.
So, Rodrin said that he's going to give you information on Trinia or information on this Reverence.
Reverence.
We don't need information on Trinia. She's in jail.
Well, is no one curious as to why he wanted her if he knew she was innocent?
I think Brodrin was trying to do the right thing by protecting Trinia.
Yes, but he doesn't seem like the kind of person that does that without an ulterior motive, no?
No, very, but I think he
I
does
would
a
agree
lot of
with
things
that.
out of survival.
But Trini was she was a rat in the low area. So maybe
was
he
a
was trying to
painter.
protect her.
She was a painter. I don't think she was a rat. She painted things.
No.
Oh,
Where did I find her? Where did y'all find her?
in the shingles.
In her house.
Okay.
Because she forced
Bale
it
just
to
hates
that
poor
person.
people.
Bale
Okay.
hates people that are richer than
I'm the
him.
poor people hater. Okay.
Well,
This
I
is
have changed.
completely out of character, but this is a change for Amanda. Not trusting the hot guy that's the bad guy? What?
I
You
have
were
always said we should not kill Brodrin, but it doesn't mean I'm like, I know he has ulterior motives. I didn't realize no one asked about them.
You were so who is that guy that was the rock guy in the last campaign? LaRock.
LaRock.
You were so wooed by LaRock even though he took over 2 villages.
And who killed the last?
It's like he's cute. He can't be evil.
It was LaRock. LaRock
Did it for
saved
himself.
the world, too.
He wasn't doing it for the greater
He
good.
wasn't evil. He was a badass.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cognar
Maybe
was a badass and he died to a damn
That's
dragon
just when
spider.
it comes to these men in this story, okay?
I'm glad Cognar left you on the side of the road.
Wow.
Ooh, that one
This
cuts
went
deep.
left quick.
That one
Ooh.
cuts deep.
Cut the mic, cut the mic.
Really deep. She was all alone.
When we get to the inn, whenever we get there, I'll tell the group that I can make a forgery of the necklace if we need to. As long as I have it to look at. Well, no, Bale's gonna have to steal it first.
Oh.
I can make a forgery, and then he can go put the forgery back in. And no one's the
Bale
wiser.
can't steal no more. He's
I have an idea.
Then why'd you agree to this?
Yeah.
Oh,
I asked
thought
you if
we
you
were
were
gonna buy
okay
it.
with this.
We don't have money.
We were gonna buy it.
No money.
What are you talking about? I was very clear.
If I
we were
have
gonna
1,500
steal
gold,
it.
I'm buying plate mail. I am not buying some dude a necklace.
No, I thought we were gonna buy it from the auction.
Oh my
How much gold does
god.
Bale have?
So, I have
No,
a question.
Rafal is okay with stealing from these people.
Oh, now it's okay to steal.
Hey,
Yes.
think of it like Robin Hood in this instance.
Which
We're
one?
stealing from the bad to
Because
get
there's a
the
couple
less
different
bad.
ones.
Doesn't matter. We're stealing from the rich.
So,
Men in tights.
All right, I'll do men in tights. Tight
I
tights.
figured you like that
don't
one.
one of you guys have the ability to detect magical items?
Yes, I do have that ability.
So maybe we could make a lovely stroll around the neighborhood with that detected, and maybe it will spark some ideas as to where it could possibly be.
Well, I can tell you right now that this spell does not work past 1 foot of stone, so if they're within a house, I probably will not be able to see what's inside. But if it's made of wood, I can see through 3 feet. But I'm guessing they're not going to put a safe right next to the edge of the building.
Might not be in a safe. We don't know.
A vault would be underground.
Let me see. Let me see.
You're the archaeologist. How do we find things?
There you go.
I don't steal them from living people. Ask Bale. I get stuck in booby traps from dead people.
Yeah, but they lived once, right?
Yeah, but I didn't
All
have to
right.
steal
Well,
all the
I can locate the object once I've had a rest. If it's within 1,000 feet, I can know the direction of where it's at.
What's the requirements for casting that spell?
You describe or name an object that is familiar to you. You sense its direction and object location. As long as the object's within 1,000 feet of you, if the object's in motion, you know which direction it's movement. Let's see. The spell can locate a specific object known to you as long as you've seen it up close within 30 feet at least once. Alternatively, the spell can locate the nearest object of a particular kind, such as a certain kind of apparel, jewelry, furniture, tool, or weapon. So, I would be
described by.
Well, I would be familiar with boots of elven kind, I would think. Those seem to be a little bit more common. So I could possibly locate those, and they should be in the same area as this necklace. Or one of the other, like, 6 items he mentioned. I didn't catch them all. So I was fixated on the necklace. Or something like that.
I just remember that there were several. I don't remember exactly what they all were. I just remember he wanted the necklace if we couldn't get all of them.
There was a Staff of the Serpent.
Oh yeah, can we get a list of all the items?
Yeah, give me 1 sec, guys. Keep brainstorming.
In case there's one for each of us and Brodrin. I mean, if we're going to be thieving, might as well make something out of the deal.
Maybe a specific spell everyone can think of that would really be useful in this instance, because we do have a centaur that might be able to get us a spell scroll in the said time we need it.
Let's think of a non-magical way of solving this. So let's think about how we're going to pull off this heist. So we have 2 invitations, which more than likely is going to have to be Rafal and Agrimar, because we're big motherfuckers who can't sneak around.
I can't sneak for shit.
Me neither. Also, I'm noble, so it makes sense that I could just walk in glad as news.
I have a pretty decent stealth, and I am a cat, so it would be reasonable to assume. And I do have this fancy shirt that I can turn into a dark cloak, so no one...
Right. So there are 2 ways of getting the 2 of you in, Nari and Bale. So there's learning the guard schedule and you cat burglaring up the walls and into the estate by slipping past the guards. So that's one option. Another
potion of invisibility.
Another option is getting jobs as servants. And that way you can case the joint and get a layout of the estate and possibly learn the location of the magical items. I really like that one.
So good to know, because I am a warlock, one of my pact things is I have Mask of Many Faces, so I can disguise self at will anytime.
What?
So possibly, Nari... with disguise self, if we actually convince a servant or okay, imagine this is Nick talking, not Rafal. Okay, so hypothetically speaking, we could kidnap a servant, and Nari could pose as that servant the day of the heist, or even not the day of the heist. Just like maybe we could, like, that person oversleeps, and Nari goes to work that day, cases the joint, something like that.
Sleep.
We could figure it out. Maybe we pay them off to take the day off or something.
Happens all the time. They're servants.
Sleep and disguise self, so I could make them go to sleep and look like them.
I mean, but okay, this is good though. So those are options. Okay, I like that plan. We're on. This is a good track because if Nari can get us a layout of the estate, that's huge.
I am a very good pretend cleaner also. So if I need to be cleaning stuff, I'm very, very believable in that.
Okay, I like
heard
this.
that.
So this is okay. So this is stage one. We need to figure out a way
Tricky
to.
servants.
Yeah, we need to identify a servant, and then we need to get. Nari needs to turn into them and case the joint.
All right, so Nari, how would you like to attempt going about this process?
So I assume,
Effectively, you got 2 days to do this, so we can be a little lenient as far as the moment-to-moment role play.
so I would assume that we would probably at least some of the time look out. I mean, kind of look at the building, be people going in and out, and decide, oh, that servant, yes, we'll pick him. I assume we have a discussion with him or her and be like, here.
Well, let's start one step at a time.
Okay.
If your plan is to hang out nearby the auction house, by what means are you doing that? Just sticking to the shadows, just walking by every so often?
Is the auction house like on a market type street, or is it like no one walks down that road? Like what's the area of the auction house?
It is, I don't know the road terminology, but it's just off one of the main market streets. So it's not on a main market street,
It's a side street.
Yeah, side street.
Well, then I would probably, because I can cast this guy's self at will, and I don't have a number of times I can cast it. So I would probably kind of hang out, walk back and forth a few times. Each time I walk back and forth, a different person, making sure I'm very discreet, poking in the alleyways, no one sees me, change my disguise, come out of the alleyway, walk by until I see said servant I'm looking for. Like, I'm not going to sit there and do it all day long, but until I see a servant, I'm like, that's one. Yeah, he looks like he works here. He looks, the part. So.
Also, look to see if people who's coming like in and out. Like, that'd be really good too.
Yeah, I would be looking for who's coming in and out specifically. Specifically, probably at the servant, if this is the time where they have servant entrances and main entrances.
There is the back servant's entrance.
I would mostly
the front door.
Be looking towards the servant's entrance to get an idea, but I would also try and keep an eye out of who comes in and out of the main building also.
All right. So go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Ooh.
So Nari, Brodrin told you about that back servant's entrance, but it seems that they both share the same front gate to this auction house. So it's the one front gate that is used by both the front entrance as well as the wagon full of supplies, foodstuffs and party supplies and the like that you can see arriving a couple of days early, that comes in through the front gate and circles around the building before the crates and barrels and sacks begin just getting offloaded from it. Because of the distance and because it has to circle around the building, you're unable to see too much about what's going on inside. And it takes them roughly about an hour to offload this wagon's worth. But you can see a pair of servants on the inside helping the guy who rode the wagon up.
Okay, I will take note of one or even both of them.
As well as 2 guards that you can see nearby the front gate.
Okay. So I take note of the 2 servants. Then I suppose I would talk to one of them. I don't really do
So
that.
effectively, these guys are still in the building. You can see on the other side of that fence.
Basically, I would report my findings because I'm not really the talker person. I don't do that. Yeah, so I found two servants that could possibly be, good. They're servants, so what do I know? I don't really know exactly. It was really hard to see the servants' entrance. I'm going to be honest, because it was way back there. But there was two I saw, and there was two guards in the front I saw. So, but I don't really do talking. So if one of you guys want to maybe convince them to take the day off, that's kind of on you guys. But I could definitely look like them.
Did you identify one of the servants?
I looked at him very good. I didn't get his name though. That might be important, huh? Well, when we
Yes.
talk to him, we'll get his name, won't we?
Yes, you need to find more information about him. Follow him, find out where he lives, find out his name, find out how he acts so you can be like him.
I did fail really bad. It's okay. It's okay.
All right, Bale, you wanted to search the sewers. That's not a bad idea. You should do that.
Oh God,
Oh,
Charles, it was a
wow.
good idea, I promise.
Robot baby.
that was great.
Bale?
He might still be BRBing.
Well, okay. So then, all right. What's next on this checklist? Okay. So she's gonna try to get a layout of the estate, doing that stuff. Guard schedules. If she might be able to get that by getting in there like that. So we'll put that on the back burner. hmm.
Yeah, I really don't have a whole lot to offer to this, like, thievery business.
Well, just help me plan.
I know. That's what, like, I'm trying to think. Like, really, you just got to get in there and have someone know what the place looks like.
Yeah, well, yeah, and Amanda's working on that. So let's see. We'll be able to get our weapons in using the portable hole.
Well, we might not even have to go to the auction if we can just steal the item.
Well, we don't know where they're going to be up until the auction. We know for a fact that they're going to be in the building on the day of the auction. So that's what we should plan around.
Right.
Because like you said, they could be in a bank vault.
Good point.
So we should plan on stealing them the day of the auction. And that because you and I can get into the encampment estate. That's the word I was looking for. You and I can
encampment. What?
Yeah, you and I can get into the estate using the invitations. I'll be the noble, you be my servant. And those two could get in through subterfuge of some way. And then we can figure out how we're going to steal the items. And we need to figure out how we're going to get out of there without being noticed.
Well, really, we just got to get the item into the portable hole.
Right. And then get the portable hole out. So, like, you and I could even, like, just walk out as glad news and they could take the portable hole out. So we just have to really figure out where the items are and then how we're going to get Nari and Bale in and out, and how you and I are going to help with either causing a distraction or whatever we're going to do to get it. But we need the information on the estate, I think, first.
Let's see. Distraction. Well, depending on how big the auction house is, I can make it extremely quiet. It's kind of distracting.
Think of a non-magical way of doing things first.
Yeah. Just a backup.
Yeah, because if you and I cause a distraction of some form, no, maybe we don't even need that. You and I might even just need to like slip out at some point and just help them with the thieving. I don't know. We'd have to see what the layout's like.
I would say if we need an out causing a distraction, do a little performance where I accidentally bid for my master or speak out of place, and you beat the living hell out of me and we walk out.
That I'm not doing that. That is not the reputation I want to have. But like,
It'd go well
if
with
we can
everyone
just
else
do-
there.
Yeah, but if we can do everything on the DL, like these two steal the thing, we get into the portable hold, and then those two can slip out like quiet, like, you know, and then we just walk out like no big deal, you know, like when things go missing, we're just like, oh, what happened? You know, like I think that could work.
Fire!
Fire could work too.
Can I make a non damaging fire? So I can. I got 50 gold. Of course, I didn't take the cool cantrip that lets me do good things.
So Amanda. Anything else Nari would like to do? And if you're talking, you're muted again.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Now.
Yes.
So weird. Every time I mute myself, I have to go and change the input device. Doesn't make any sense. Okay. Yeah, so after I'm like, look, I found the servant. They're like, go get his name and more information. So I'm going to try and secretly stalk one of the servants. Suppose. I'll pick one. The one on the left, I will pick. And I will wait till he gets off work. He or she gets off work. And then I will follow them, trying to, get an idea of exactly how he walks so I can mimic it better. See if I can hear him speaking to people so I can mimic that better.
Tell you what, Nari, you find yourself waiting outside of the auction house after you return, after telling the rest of your party what information you were able to gather by just kind of looking the place over. And you find yourself waiting and waiting, and you kind of pass the street, pass it again, and again, and the sun starts getting lower in the sky, and you find yourself still waiting out front of the Arcona's auction house. Roll me a perception check.
I did really good last time. So a 12. I bet they have servants' quarters in there, huh? Probably never leave.
As you find yourself waiting and circling around the building, kind of taking the long way, dipping through a couple of back alleys that run up against the property, you, just after sunset, some of the guards kind of positioned at each door look to start cycling through. And as some of the guards that were nearby the doors of the rear step in, just in this brief moment before the next pair of guards step out, you can see what looks like a relatively commonly dressed individual slips out from the servants' entrance. And effectively, they look to be sneaking out of the building themselves. And they start circling about the property, kind of themselves keeping to the bushes as much as they can as they kind of dive from one to the next to the next. And they get to the front gates and exchange what looks to be a few words between themselves and the front guard gates. And then they hand something through the bars. And then the guys at the front just crack open the gate and he slips out. He starts walking along the streets. And it takes you a moment or two to be able to circle back around the front to follow this individual. But you start following him down one block after another as the sun sets in the distance. Go ahead and roll me another stealth check.
9. I am on a roll now. You guys mentioned my natural 20, and it's all downhill from there.
Mm-hmm.
As you find, this guy is relatively common enough that it's not that you lose him, but you wind up getting closer to him than you might have hoped because you misplaced him for that brief moment and you were following the other guy and wound up kind of closing the distance between yourself and your target a little too much. And at some point, he noticeably kind of cocks his head and picks up his pace a little bit.
I would like to see if I can sneakily disguise myself so I don't look like Nari anymore, just like a common person.
I assumed you were already doing that.
I'll change my disguise again.
All right. Just out in the middle of the street?
I mean, I'll try and duck behind something super quick, but like, yeah, I don't want to lose him, so.
All right, so
like, yeah.
So you find yourself following this individual.
And when my shirt changes, so does my body.
And as he continues to turn and move from one street to the next, he dips down an alleyway. Do you follow?
I want to be extra stealthy, and I want to try and climb on the walls of the alleyway, so I'm not like, human level. I want to be like as high as I can be on the walls, looking down, seeing if I can still see him.
All right, so the buildings he dipped between look to be about 40 feet tall on either side of this alleyway.
I want to get like...
And he is about 30 feet ahead of you when he dipped into the alley.
If I can get like second story length, like, high enough where you're like not thinking, oh, there's a person walking on the wall up there, but, kind of, it's just, you kind of got to guesstimate as you see it, like a reasonable amount. If there's like, a fire escape, kind of hide by it-ish, that makes any sense at all.
All right, so using your tabaxi claws, you are able to scramble your way up the side of the wall nearby the alley before you start following him down this alleyway. And because of your climb, he's gotten a little bit further down the alleyways. He'd be about 60 feet down the alleyway as you start to peer down and follow him at a heightened vantage. And your climb speed is 15?
Climbing speed of 20 feet.
20 feet, okay. So he is effectively getting away slowly as you are climbing the wall at a reduced pace. And effectively, he is about 10 feet from the far side of that alleyway. And you're about halfway down it. Anything you would like to do? Just continue slinking after this guy.
I want to take note of which direction he turns, but I do want to continue on the height I'm at in case he tries to how people turn the corner and then all of a sudden turn back around like I caught you following me. So I want to avoid that maneuver. So if I stay up higher, I think I'll be okay.
I'll tell you what. Because that is literally exactly what I had planned for this guy, because he knew somebody was already following him.
Good.
And so he ducked down this alley with hopes of being able to turn around at the end to catch full sight of who was following him. Nari, you scale up the wall even higher. And you kind of crease over the rooftop and are able to stare down just as he kind of turns to the left. And no more than 2 seconds goes by before he jumps back in the middle of the alley, looking back up from the direction he was walking. And he takes kind of a moment carefully surveying the alley before he just kind of shakes his head as if he might have just been hallucinating the whole thing, and then continues to the right.
So I will continue down. I will get down as stealthily as possible and change my appearance once again.
All right. So as you start making your way down the building and following this gentleman, he eventually makes his way towards the more clustered, condensed areas, kind of over by the western docks, by the west docks, kind of by the fisheries and the like, where it's a little bit more populated and the apartments are effectively smaller in scale. He goes up to the door of one of these properties and looks to step right in. It looks to be a residence that he's entering.
Can I try and get a peek in the window?
Sure, roll me a stealth check.
A 20!
You kind of creep along the property line and start climbing and scaling the wall just enough to peek into the window. And it looks as though this gentleman is being greeted by 2 children on the inside, and he looks to be throwing a couple of items into a pot of stew that is slowly starting to just cook over the fireplace on the inside.
Okay. What would Rafal do? What would Rafal do? What time? I guess it doesn't really matter exactly what time of day.
After the sun has set.
Yeah.
Closer to 11 or midnight.
Like stalking this guy, and all of a sudden, like, I don't know how to like confront him. Be like, hey, I want to be you tomorrow. Don't go to work. Like, that's weird.
Go up to the door and say you're selling cart insurance.
Cart insurance. Yeah. You know your warranty is expired on the cart you own. You better renew. Okay, can we go to the next person while I ponder what I'm doing?
All right, so Nari takes a moment contemplating.
Hi, Nick.
This is really hard to do without knowing what the layout is.
I plan on getting in there, but it's just like I just don't know how to. Like, I can't keep running back to the inn every time I have a question. But I'm just trying to figure out. Could we like do one of those? My retcon pin, but like, can we say that we had a conversation? Would this be using my retcon thingy?
If you want to make use of it now, yeah.
Well, no, I don't want to, but I'm asking if I were to say we had the conversation in the end, would that be a use of it? I'm guessing.
So, like, question: could she say like she wants to use it to get a layout of the estate, and like we get a layout of the estate? Is that how it works?
Effectively, yes. You cash it in
easier.
for what's basically a success.
So basically, I could say that I want to be this guy. You know, I see who he is, how he is. I want to be him, and sneak into the building, get the layout of it, and then.
If you want to make use of your contingency point, you effectively tell us how you succeeded in doing it.
Oh, okay, yes.
Oh, god damn it. Oh, that's so much easier.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Narrate this shit.
Yep.
Okay. I understand.
We just spent an hour of her trying to do this.
Okay, so Nari is going to
Because
knock.
Ryan's a sadistic fucking was enjoying it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna climb upwards just in case he jumps back," and I was like, "Fuck!" He just rolled a natural 20 on his perception, but
But there was nothing there. Yeah, that was a joke.
I didn't know. I was like, "That okay? I'll
Like,
give you
Amanda
that."
was born to do this. I don't know why she's questioning herself.
She's done this before.
She's better at stalking than I am.
Cat.
I'm not a good mastermind.
I love doing this stuff, but well,
We're
like,
all
see, the only
the
part.
highest intelligence in the group, guys. Like, come on.
What's your intelligence?
Intelligence is +1.
Yeah, I have a 13 intelligence.
Oh God, I'm the smartest in the group.
Yeah, and you're being the quietest here, you dick.
I have nothing. Well, I put it in chat. An idea. You know, I am no good for sneaking.
I mean, I think that's a great job for you to do, but I think like us getting in is the easy part because we have 2 invitations and I'm a noble.
Well, I know, but I'm trying to find the items.
Yeah.
If you can guard the
Maybe.
items,
Okay, here's
all I
something
need
we
is
can
an
do,
hour
maybe.
and I can switch it.
Okay, I have an idea. Maybe there's a way we could find out like where the guards hang out after work, and we could drink with them and talk with them and do that kind of a thing. That's an option. There's another option of we could maybe I could use my noble feature to maybe find a way to find somebody in the Arcona family that we could maybe buddy up to. I don't know. That's an option.
Try to get another favor from someone. Hmm.
Think along those lines. What could we do like with some stuff like that? Now that we understand how this works.
Sorry, I was trying to figure out Nari's thing still in my head. A way of I figured it out.
It's
so
okay. Now that we understand how this works, we're kind of like, oh my god, this opens up so many avenues.
That's if you want to use it right now and not the day of the heist.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
I think I thought of a way that I could not use it now and still succeed in what I'm doing. That's why I needed a minute to figure out exactly how Nari was going to approach this next situation.
I
But
think
I'm
getting
glad
us
it worked.
exactly out of the estate is the perfect use for one of these points.
Yes, probably.
I'll pay mine into it.
This is
We only
true.
need one. We only need one.
Succeeding, I just thought of the perfect narration for it all. So how about that?
There we go. Take us on a journey,
Sure.
Amanda.
But
When I try to contemplate something.
okay, well, I'll take you on my journey since I thought of it. So Nari is going to knock on this door, and she's going to be dressed as a kind of like an averagey looking person, but kind of more on the nobly looking side. She's going to be a male. Why not? She's going to knock on the door, and she's going to talk to the man for a moment. She's just going to say, the day of the tomorrow, going in the day before the scout out. Tomorrow, you do not need to come into work. You will be compensated for your time and your silence. And she's going to give him 20 gold.
Ooh. Don't ever come back to work again, ever.
you know, just to kind of, I was going to do 10, but I was like, fuck it. We'll do 20.
Yeah, I like it.
And so it makes me change my money amount. I'll get the refall later.
Get a refall
So
instead of a receipt.
acts like she's like this noble guy, and you know, she noticed that he had a family, so she's like gonna kind of be like, look, you can take care of your family, but you just need to not come into work tomorrow, and don't worry about calling in or anything. Just show up the next day as though nothing happened, period. Okay, end of story. By the way, what is your name? You know. get the name out of it. And so then to go back to the our Arcona's auction house. Yes. He's going to be disguised as the person and
disguised as Gunter.
And Scooter. That's his name?
That's his name.
Scooter. So I'm Scooter, and I'm going to kind of walk up to the guard and kind of give him a nod, like a knowingly nod, because I saw him sneak out, so I assume that he lets him back in too. You see? So it works.
So are you using your point to get in as a servant, or are you using your point to get the layout of this place?
The layout of the place, but I thought this was all kind of part of it. So you tell me.
This is the narrative.
Yeah,
This is my narrative of how I did
it. All right.
So just tell him how things happen. Don't ask him how things happen.
That's why I was asking.
So she gives him the nod, and he opens.
Because you would find out from this Gunter that he effectively snuck out in order to feed his kids, and that he's expected back before morning. That's the deal he worked out with those front guards.
Perfect. He gets to spend the day with his kids, and he's not going to miss work. He just doesn't know why.
Gold richer.
Exactly. That was my, that part works out perfectly. So
and you do find out that, yes, there are servants' quarters on the property.
She figures out probably which one was his, so it's not weird. Like, oh, this one's my room. Sorry, walked into the wrong one.
Oops, you're naked.
That'd be fun. So she kind of gets an idea as to exactly what the servants do, but as she can, she is going to try and sneak around. She's going to try and get an idea of exactly who's who as she's walking around cleaning, doing her daily chores. And as someone walks out of the room one way, she's going to change into them and walk out of a different way. So it's like, oh, she's that person. So she can get a better layout, because they're like, oh, servants aren't allowed here. But it's like, oh, you're the high up guy. We don't fucking talk to you. You don't, you do whatever you want.
All right, Nari, roll me a deception check.
Oh, I thought that was just supposed to pass.
With advantage. You passed on being the servant, getting in, you're getting the layout. This check is to determine how much you're able to get. Because
take my energy. This is awesome. That's good. That's
17.
good.
So Nari, on more than one occasion, in between switching disguises, you've had a couple of close calls wherein that you had just shifted and then took half another step to have somebody else stepping into that same room as you. It's not necessarily tight quarters, but as the day of the auction is getting closer and closer, you notice that more and more, they don't really look to be dressed as guards, but are all wearing noticeable leathers and, let me see. They have leathers and maces, leather armor, studded leather armor, some of them, maces, crossbows, short swords, and the like. These guys are noticeably the guards, but they're not dressed in a shared uniform or anything like that. On more than one occasion, you've been startled by a suit of armor that is just itself walking about the property. There's noticeably nobody inside or wearing that armor, but there's a faintly bright blue arcane glow radiating from inside of the armor itself. On a couple of occasions you have run into some individuals. There are 4 individuals that look to be garbed in a similar uniform, and they look to be effectively the captains of these guardsmen. And they are the ones that are wearing the studded leather with the longer blades at their sides. And one of the 4 of them is wearing a gray, almost hairy-looking cloak wrapped around his person, and he's kind of a bit more prideful in his own steps. But in your time you spend here at the auction house, there is noticeably an entire wing of this place that's effectively off limits for the staff and staffers. But making use of your deceptive abilities, you're able to sneak around in that wing of the house, and you find effectively what looks to be a sort of museum set up with a number of display cases and items, and most commonly found over here are taxidermied animals and beasts and monstrosities and just intimidating looking figures kind of all throughout.
I love this place. I am so happy I'm here.
Why are we stealing from these people? They're saints.
This is my new home.
I live here now. I will pretend to be a taxidermy Tabasco.
Adopt me, please.
But do I see the goods that are supposed to be auctioned off in the... Or do I see any, like, okay, I'm Nari. Do I see interesting items other than dead animals? Like, is there like, oh, I remember hearing tales of that one. Like, ooh, that one's very interesting.
Probably nothing of any repute or the like, but there are the occasional interesting tidbits.
Okay. Sure.
Kind of like broken pottery remains from this supposed location, another kind of far off creature from a forest and the like. A very large white hairy spider that Zephyr would have recognized from some of her own cliff sides, but effectively creatures from a wide variety of locations. Kind of the owner of these trophies is either a collector or some sort of explorer.
Yeah.
You could presume.
Let's get along. I need to speak to him in real form in person. That'd be great conversation. Anyways, okay, back to what. Okay, focus, Nari. Wow.
But there's also the matter of effectively the basement. That even the guards that are posted nearby the stairwell are told not to go down, not to let anyone go down, unless given orders specifically from one of the Arconas.
Okay.
And as far as you can tell, the Arconas are not here.
That's frustrating. Can I tell by the hustle and bustle what room the
auction?
Yes.
There's effectively kind of like a main, almost like a ballroom with like a fountain on one end of it. Most of the room is empty space, and there's a stage set up on one end that is closest to where the servant's entrance is. There's a kind of back storeroom behind that auction space, and then the exit to the rear of the property.
Okay. Well, I cannot get into the basement. And from being there, most of the day, all day, I'm trapped inside until nightfall. Can I see if they ever have a changing of the guards at the basement? You said there's 2 guards down there, right?
There are 2 guards posted by those stairs.
Okay, but nothing, I can't see beyond the stairs.
It effectively looks as though it goes down about 5-10 steps, then turns around to continue going down.
Okay. But yeah, can I tell if there's a changing of those 2 guards?
How long are you staying on the Arcona's property?
I mean, I assume I'm there all day because I have to be this guy all day until I can get out at nighttime to feed his kids again.
So effectively, are you planning on leaving the same day that you went in?
Yes.
All right. So in that case, you would be leaving before you see any shift in those guards. As you were told by where did his name go? You were told by this individual,
Gunter,
that was it. Gunter. You were told by Gunter that he's worked out a deal with the guards at the front gates that effectively, if he comes to them with 5 silver apiece, they let him slip through on these nights to go feed his kids.
And I just gave him 20 gold. He's so happy now. You're welcome, Gunther. Okay. So I can assume there's daytime and then nighttime shift. Okay. Are there any other rooms to really note in this house? I mean, I can see that that's where, can I kind of, so I know that Rafal and Agrimar and Vale and I, we all kind of discussed the idea of a portable hole. Get an idea of how long, like the walk would be between the basement and the auction room, because I assume, I don't know if they're going to bring him to a room right next door during the auction or if they'll have to walk it from, you know.
So the stairs to the main auction room are effectively about, from the closest point in the auction kind of ballroom, it's about 20 feet away. So it's a relatively brief walk from the auction room to the stairs that go down to the basement.
Just 20 feet. And how high are the ceilings?
For the ballroom, they are 20 feet high. For the wing, where it is kind of like a museum, they're about 15 feet high. And the museum wing is 2 stories itself.
Okay, and is it like completely open ceiling, or are there like rafters and stuff?
It's mostly open ceiling, kind of that high ceiling aesthetic. Like, we have all this free space to spare.
Yeah, okay. So I think I have a decent layout I can give everyone after exploring, which is, you know, why I automatically succeed. But I just didn't know, was there any more details that I should be? No, like I think I did good. So yeah, I guess I'll wait till nightfall. I'll make sure Gunther gets all of his chores done so he's not in trouble the next day for slacking today. I'll be a good person.
So you spent all day creeping around the manor, not doing Gunther's job?
No, I'm saying I did creep around the manor, but I also was making sure his job was done. Like, at the end of the day, I want to make sure everything he needed to get done was done.
Tell you what, roll me a performance check. Gunther's job.
Let's see how well you scrub those latrines. Ooh, wow.
Gunther possibly had a light load today, and it's also possible that with all the hustle and bustle of everyone else getting ready for the auction in just a couple of nights' time, that your efforts kind of went unnoticed.
That's fine. I don't want to be noticed. Okay, so then at nighttime, I will make sure I have 10 silver to give to each of the, or 5 each, so I can sneak out of there. And then I will return to the Phoenix Feather Inn and report all my findings.
All right, so go ahead and roll me a stealth check as you were trying to sneak out from the property during one of the guard shift changes. All right, you're able to make your way back around the building as the guards are stepping away, and you make it down to the front gates where the individual that is happily accepting your payments of coin are warning you that you're going to have to stay inside the property lines for the next couple of days. They're bringing in some sort of dwarf to oversee security. And he's not getting his ass chewed out over the likes of some commoner.
Mm-hmm.
I nod in understanding, and I will, at the Phoenix Feather Inn, I think I need to be Gunther these next couple of days. Oh, because I can either get back in tomorrow, period, or I can't get back in. That makes sense.
It does. Okay. That's a lot of good information. Okay. So then the next thing we need to...
Perhaps, maybe to help a little bit better, have a drawing of a map of the outline that I did.
And you could probably make one after returning to the Phoenix Feather.
Yeah. That's what I'm asking. Would I be good enough? I am a map maker, so you should know that about
That's true.
The cartographer's tools.
Whoa.
So I should be able to make a pretty accurate map. If at all possible.
It's going to make things a little difficult on my end, because I did it with the isometric map, but rough idea. All right.
I love the isometric map. You guys still there?
Yep. Just
Okay.
try.
I'm making sure it didn't crash because everyone just got quiet. So
Yeah,
shit.
I'm just watching this happen.
Okay.
I'm stuffing my face. Sorry.
You're fine. I was just like, shit, it crashed again.
All right, so on the bottom right, that's the front gate that circles all the way up and around to that back storeroom behind the auction hall, effectively. That's what that big space is.
I'm a professional map maker, I promise.
Clearly. Too bad you have to rely on your DM's free hand skills and abilities.
Fine.
So then you got the front door up hereabouts and the short entryway corridor. Kind of goes between the left and the right wings, east and west wings, and along. Kind of an open, grassy courtyard space. Evident, kind of like a gardens or the like on the inside. And on the right side, that is where you have the kind of museum area, that U-shaped spot, and that's a 2-story museum space. And the stairwell that leads down to the basement is kind of by the front door. Or sorry, no, back door. Back door leads down to the basement from the mansion side.
Okay. Well, there you have it. But if I need to go undercover, I mean, the sky self, if I can cast it at will, could I even make it last all night long? Will I really get fucked over?
I believe it lasts an hour per casting.
And at will means you can cast as often as you like.
Yeah, but it just makes it difficult if I fall asleep and someone comes in the room. And
Right.
There's no sleeping for Nari. Suffered 3 points of exhaustion.
It is not nice. I really need to talk to my friend. Oh yeah, before we do that, I did want to try and talk to Kronos tonight to figure out why he didn't respond to my seance.
All right, so while you were doing that, Rafal and Agrimar, anything you guys were taking care of specifically on the second day?
Now that you guys have the layout you need.
Oh, hold on. Did I get a full rest from the first day?
Yes.
Okay.
So go through this with me again. So A is for auction room.
That's kind of the auction hall, the A.
M is for...
That's the museum area, that kind of U-shaped building.
Okay,
and that's 2 stories.
Or right there, those are the ones right here. This goes to the basement.
Yeah. Yep.
And so if we were leaving the auction hall, we'd have to go this way, and then this way, and then this way.
If you want to go down the stairs, at least from what I saw of that line.
Yeah, like if we want to go down the stairs, we need to leave the auction room this way, right?
You could also go back through the storeroom.
This way.
Right, but that's if we did that, we'd have to come from outside, right?
You could go through the auction. Sorry, let me.
The doorways.
Let's go green for doors.
Yeah. Ooh, I like it. Means there's money.
Okay, so they clearly are going to bring the items up here and boom, boom, straight in here.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was trying to ask, the distance, because we'll have if they only bring it from the basement to the auction room, we'll have 20 feet to swipe it from someone, which will not be easy.
Nope.
Oh, idea, guys.
Mm-hmm.
We could just rob the guy who buys it.
I'd rather rob the people selling it.
Yeah, but if we fail at this, it's an option.
We're not going to think like that. Okay, so this is good. Okay, now we know that the auction's being held at sunset, so that then we can probably assume that the items are going to be there ahead of that time. So we would be able to use the invitations to get in. She can be the servant, and do that. And you could totally just sleep with your pillow over your head or something like that.
Just hope my fluffy ass tail and ass don't poke out.
Stretch out from the sheets, claws.
Are you proficient with a disguise kit?
No, I don't have a disguise kit.
It's hard to hurt.
She's a lot hairier than Gunther.
You can't just paint it away.
No, but you can wear pants and clothes and hide things just.
Ooh. Put socks on your hands.
I'm just saying there are ways you can disguise yourself. Just
be like, oh, my face is breaking out, so I have to put socks on my hands so I can't scratch. And then you sleep with a pillow on your face.
It's cold. I'm just wearing this because it's cold. Wear a big cloak. I don't know.
Have you ever seen that dog with the tights on? That's all I'm imagining right now.
A chicken wearing pants.
You're not feeling well, so you're wearing lots of clothes to make to keep yourself warm. Okay, so you would be inside there. So how are we going to get Bale in?
Well, we can give Nari and Bale the portable hole.
Well, Nari has the in by being Gunther.
Yeah, so she'll have already been. But that's not 10 minutes is not a long time.
No, but it's just enough time to get him into the building, and then she can let him go, or past the gate, for that matter.
Yeah, that's true. And then he can stealth. He's on his own after that.
Just to the back door.
Yeah, because there's the possibility that we could put him in the portable hole. You and I walk in, and then just as I'm handing my cloak off to this servant who is Nari, she gets the portable hole and lets him out.
Or Nari can just take it when she goes back.
Take him in tonight.
And Bale just stays there a couple days, hiding in the shadows.
I mean,
it's really hard to stay a couple days.
That would be difficult to do. It'd be easier to smuggle him in the day of.
Yeah, but if they're gonna steal it, they're gonna need the hole, right? Not us, because
That's
we're
what
gonna be
he's
out in
saying.
the auction room.
If he,
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
clothes.
if like she takes my cloak when we come in, and I put that bandana as part of like handing that to her, like, and bails inside, then she can take that and bail, and then they can go and whoop, steal it.
This is
I can see
gonna
that
be
work.
bad.
As long as that's Garfunkel's job, whatever his name is.
Gunther. My
Well,
name
I
is
mean, if she
Gunther.
has a couple of days to do it, she can like volunteer for that or something like that. Be like, hey, who's taking cloaks? Oh, I'll do that. You know, like whatever. We get to
Yeah.
kind of call our shots with Ryan on this one. Is how we think he wants to do it. Like
Yeah,
we're planning a fucking heist, man.
I know. I'm just
Think of it like
saying.
Ocean's 11. How would Danny Ocean do it?
Super exciting.
Hey, that
But actually, now that I'm thinking about it like that way, like maybe there is a noble of that house that could be seduced by Rafal's good looks, who would be able to take him back into that like museum area during the auction, so it wouldn't be weird that he's like missing. You know what I'm saying? That's I'm liking this idea a little bit.
I like where this is going.
Right, you get what I'm saying? Like, you know, like so I could kind of slip away from that, and then there would be, you know, a reason for me to be back by the basement, and maybe we could go down into the basement. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe she could go down into the basement.
Yeah, you know what I'm
Hey.
saying?
No, what's that mean?
All right. So, while you're all contemplating that, I'm trying to think of a way to not get us in trouble when this thing goes missing.
Right?
So,
No, I like your idea of making a replica. I thought that was a great idea.
yes, I'm trying to see. So, I might have to cash in a coin on it, or a point, but as long as I have, I can create a duplicate of a non-magical item that contains metal such as keys if I possess the original. I'm not trying to recreate the item, I'm just trying to recreate something that looks like the item.
Right.
So,
How long would it take you to make one, though? Doesn't it take you an hour?
1 hour.
Where would you go for an hour while this item is missing?
Well, this is where it gets into a little bit of theater of the mind. Perhaps there is a necklace of adaptation somewhere in town for sale that I can go and inspect and get a visual like representation of what that necklace would look like.
But all necklaces look different. That's the thing.
Well,
And you could
never
have
mind.
10 magical wands and they're all different.
Yeah.
Is there a way to speed up the casting time?
Unfortunately not. Not that I know of. I mean, it's a channel, so not unless I get some divine intervention, which I highly doubt is going to work on this. That's all I had. Yeah, needed an hour. That's why I was hoping we could steal it and then be able to just put the fake back, so I didn't have to worry about it. So I'm useless. So
No. What if the noble that we're talking about Rafal seducing has seen the item before and could describe it for Rafal? That's a possibility, right?
yeah. That is certainly plausible. Like I said, all I need is an hour. I can make, as long as I have an idea of what it looks like, I can at least replicate the shape and
Right. It doesn't have
materials
to be
made.
perfect. It just has to be passable.
Yep.
So, like, if we can get a description of what it looks like, then you should be able to do that, and we could put that in the portable hole, and so it's in there and waiting so
They can do a
that they
switch.
can make the switch.
Yep.
I love this idea.
And I mean, probably the only people who have actually seen it are the Arcana people.
Hey, what's her relationship status, DM?
What's her Facebook status?
They are definitely happily married, it seems.
Do they have children?
None that you are aware of.
Any
Is he as handsome as Rafal?
Can you do me a favor and click that noble feature you've got?
He doesn't look as good looking as Rafal, I can tell you that.
I don't have the noble feature on my character sheet. Let me grab
No worries, give me 1 second.
PHB.
Backgrounds? Noble? Hold on. Who gets there first? Welcome high side right to where you are. The common folks. It just says that you are in place in high society situations, so you're not shunned upon. You're welcomed, and people
I'd
think
say it's been a
you're high.
while since you've heard anything about the Arcana family.
New money.
Well, it's just last time he was studying up on the nobles, it was at least 20 years ago.
Well, I'm going to say she, at least looking at the pawns, she's pretty good looking. He's kind of fugly. Rafal, I think you have a good chance. Who's to say this isn't like a Game of Thrones culture, where it's like, oh yeah, she can have any guy she wants. She's still my queen, kind of thing.
Well, she's the one in charge, though.
Yeah.
She might be the head of the family.
You are quite charismatic, my friend. And if you so choose to proceed with that train of thought, I would like to give you advantage on your charisma.
I wanted to ask, do we still have the boons from the
what
Strider thing?
No, that's got to be over with. That was like a couple days ago.
That was just like a one-time thing? Okay.
Yeah,
if we were going to go into that tomb, we should have done it right after we got out of the Strider camp.
I wanted to.
I did too. Why didn't we go? What happened? I think Brian sent something at us.
We went, we've been focused on saving Journey. We went to the castle.
Yeah.
It's ruining my life.
Oh, that's right. We came in and someone was like, "Oh, you're needed at the castle." Ooh.
You guys went from the Strider camp after dropping the body off, crossing the bridge, being like, "We should go tell the queen what's up."
Oh man, we should have went to the tomb. I bet you there would have been like a cool weapon. All right. Anyway, I have taken the ability to enhance your ability, or anyone's rather. If need be.
What?
Hmm?
What did you say?
So
I said I took the ability to enhance someone's ability if need be.
So who are some of the people that Nari was turning into to get into like the museum area and parts like that? Who were those people?
So she would have noticed that none of these servants were effectively allowed back in the museum area, and as well as the guards who weren't stationed at those stairs. The other guys didn't seem to wander around in there at all.
So who did she turn into to like get back there?
Those guards, as like the captains, the 4 captains, were able to walk about that space freely. But also those animated armors were just kind of walking about on their own. Nobody really telling them where they could or couldn't go. And they cycled through there a couple of times that she was there.
That is going to be terrifying if we have to fight invisible people armor things. Guys, if this goes south and I die, I'm going to be pissed. You better get your friend Phelan to bring us back from the dead.
Right?
Never even got to go to the Tomb of the Uthlok, which is why I'm in this crazy place. Maybe we should do the tomb first and then come back to the auction later.
No, don't have time.
Okay. I got it. I don't need to seduce anybody. Okay, I got
Okay,
it.
good, because you only get 1 hour.
Hey now.
Hey.
So using this noble feature, I
Bears
can
and
have an
dirt.
audience. I can secure an
Ooh.
audience with local noble if I need to. So could I secure an audience with Lady Vamanda Akona at the auction house and cash in my point to pose as a noble who is maybe interested in purchasing the items, but he would like to see them first to verify their authenticity and decide if he really wants to spend his money on these things.
Do you need your guard there?
Well, I was going to say, you're my person that's going to identify their authenticity. You're my expert or whatever. So
I could do that.
So, because you can cast detect magic and you can verify their authenticity and things like that, right? So
Yeah.
you're my specialist that I bring with me to identify these items, so you can get a good look at them. So then you can cast your thing for the replica.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful plan, if it works. I love it.
So effectively trying to get down to see the goods the night of the auction before they go up for sale.
Well, I would try to do it, I guess, either
Before.
like the night before or the morning, because I need to be able to leave enough, like that hour, for Agamar to do it. So, like,
right.
we need to at least leave enough time. So maybe like the morning of the auction, because that way that she probably has the stuff there. Like, that's very reasonable, right? Like, oh, I want to see this stuff beforehand so I can see how much
I'd
funds
say that by
for this
spending
kind
your
of thing.
contingency point, Rafal could absolutely get the audience with the Lady Arcona and effectively set this meeting up to inspect these magic items himself personally, if he is going to be purchasing all of them, like kind of in bulk.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he wants to kind of pose as like a buyer, and this is my guy that I'm going to bring to authenticate these things.
Question for you. Do you want your invitations to have your name, like your actual name, or some other name? If you're going to be setting up this meeting.
It might as well be me. Because there's
We have
really
an out
no
if we don't
hiding
like
who
the
I
items. Yeah.
All right. And would you like...
Oh, my real name, fake name for Agamar.
All right.
Oh, shit.
So what fake name are you given for Agramar? And by what means would you like to try and get him in as well to inspect these items?
So for the audience, I want to say that he is my servant that is, or my specialist that is going to verify their authenticity and whatnot.
Advisor?
He can identify items and cast detect magic and stuff like that.
All right. All right, let's do it.
And I want to use my point to make it happen.
All right, so this would be the night, effectively, that Nari is on her way back to the Phoenix Feather Inn for the second time, after having disguised herself the full day as Gunter. Word effectively gets out through some of her false contacts that he is looking to have an audience with the Lady Arcona, and she effectively summons him for... It would be the day of the auction or the night before, whichever you would choose.
Let's do the night before. Oh, I just thought of something. Hold on a second.
What did you think of?
We could smuggle, if we do it the day of the auction, we could smuggle Bale in right then.
We would just have to have
easier
privacy.
than doing it later, right? Because less people would be there.
Yeah.
And it would be less weird if, like, Nari took my cloak right then. Oh, wait, no. We want to do the cloak thing later because that's how she's going to get the portable hole after we've made the fake item. So that happens then. But if we smuggle Bale in right there, then he's not, like, having to skulk around for, like, days. It's just, like, an afternoon.
An afternoon of highly guarded area where no one else is.
I don't know what to do with him. He wants to search the sewers. I wonder. Maybe we need to let that happen. I don't know. I don't know what to do with Bale.
It's harder because he's not here, so we don't know what's going through his head either. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have a backup escape plan in case it all does go south. You know, we could get off the street super fast.
Well, if I can get in there, and if I can get an hour by myself, I can make a replicate and just take the real one.
I think it's safer. Let's play it safe and do the night before, because it's possible that if we do day of, it'll be like right before the auction, and that won't leave us enough time. So let's play it safe and say the night before.
Do we want to steal it at the point of replication, or try stealing it the next day?
I think we just steal it the next day and make the swap. Like,
okay.
Somebody, like Bale, is going to have to get into the basement and make the swap. And then we just get out. We just steal the one thing. We don't steal anything else. And then we just have to get Bale and Nari out.
So we could basically use Bale's point to steal the item, make sure that goes successfully, swapping it out. And then the only thing we have to do is I could put him and the item in the portable hole, and then I just have to remain being the servant guy until that night when I could leave, or even the next day, which would be like I could put the portable hole back on your cloak before you leave, but it'd have to be 10 minutes because Bale will be inside, so that could be bad. But then I could continue being the servant. Can't leave for a couple of days due to the stuff. They won't let him leave. They said like 3 days or something like that.
Right, which is
fine. Effectively 3 days from the day that you were given this quest. And so you spent that first day effectively following around the servants, and the second day walking around the property as Gunter. So the third day is the day of the auction.
Well, I wasn't talking about the day of the auction. I was talking about how the guards told him that they're going to have a dwarf in there, so he won't be able to leave the property again. So for a couple days. So if I'm Gunter, I'll have to be there for a couple days, even after the auction, because they said he would be there for a couple days. So, which I'm okay with doing. That's my thing. Which I could get out of there hopefully.
Nari just gives up on her old life and becomes Gunter.
Okay. So all right, so now we've got our replica. Okay, so now we have 2 points left, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I have mine left.
And we have okay. So
which I think Bale's needs to be used for switching it out successfully.
I think that's a great point. And I think Agrimar's needs to be used for the escape. So with Bale planning the let's help him by planning the actual theft. So he needs to get past these suits of armor. He needs to get into the
because it might possibly help you with this process. We can go through the meeting that Rafal and Agrimar have with the Lady Arcona.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
To effectively.
I mean, if we
like
can make the
that's
switch without
later
having to
that
use
e-
bail, then
later
that'd
that
be preferable.
evening.
Right.
Right?
As Bale leans in close, he's like, all right, guys, so this is what I've got planned for our escape. And then camera fades out as we cut to Rafal and Agrimar waiting beside the gates of the Arconis auction house.
So Agrimar would
What was your fake
have
name? Did you come up with something?
Did I come up with something?
Yeah, what were we going with your fake name?
Dick Whitman.
Yes, hold on. Shit, where'd he go? I can't pronounce any of these
Unusual,
names.
but okay.
This is Papa Smithy.
No, I've got a name. Hold on. I just gotta
This is
find
shit. Where'd he go? He's my bodyguard.
This is Dick Johnson.
You can call me Kaido Wolfmane.
Yeah.
And Agrimar is going to be showing up without any of his weapons or armor, and he's going to be wearing a ceremonial, not a ceremonial, but like a long, almost like a dress, like a robe kind of attire, and basically just be having a coin purse or like not a coin purse, like a fanny pack pouch in front.
All right.
Trying to be like something he doesn't normally
your
wear.
holy symbol or using a component pouch?
I will have my holy symbol underneath my dress.
All right.
I could even put it on my crotch. I mean, like fanny pack right on the front.
So Rafal Adia and Kaido Wolfmane find themselves out front of the main gate of the Arconis auction house. And the guards there are effectively refusing you entry until a carriage pulls up behind you. And it opens up to reveal effectively after the sun is set, you guys have been waiting here for a little while. Torches are getting lit across the streets and the like. And eventually this carriage pulls forward and the Lady Vamanda Arcona exits and basically just kind of gives you a nod of acknowledgement, kind of recognizing you're probably the ones here waiting for this introduction, effectively. And she outstretches her hand kind of daintily towards Rafal as she kind of curtsies with her other hand. She says, Lord Adia, I expect.
My lady?
Well, the pleasure is all mine. And if you'll please escort me to my property, I can see to it that you thoroughly investigate whatsoever you need to ensure your confidence in your bid tomorrow.
And that pleasure would be all mine. I brought Kaido here with me as my assistant in this endeavor.
I see. Will he be needing to examine the goods as well?
Yes, I trust his professional opinion above any other.
And if it's necessary, I see no harm in bringing him along. Come, and she effectively leads you guys up this driveway to the main doors, and as you guys are approaching each of these doors, within 10 feet or so, there's somebody else opening these doors every step of the way, making sure this woman is not dirtying her hands with such doorknobs or the like. And you can sense this air of respect as she's walking through this property. Like, these guys aren't here in service to her because they fear her or because of the money, but like, it's clear that there's this air of nobility about her, this respectedness that has come with her position in controlling the entirety of the spice trade of this city. And so as she's walking through, she effectively starts taking you after entering the front door, she kind of gestures towards the exhibits on one side or through the ballroom on the other. And she asks you if you have a direction of preference.
Rafal will gesture towards the exhibits.
All right.
Insight.
You'll have to pardon me, I don't know the specifics about many of these creatures as well as my husband, but every one of them has been hunted by a member of our house or one of our associates on one of our expeditions. And she starts kind of just walking through and explaining to you the process of their latest venture, and effectively talking about how the funds for this auction are hoping to help fund their next venture northwards. They're going to try and find a route to the north upriver that effectively sees where that river ends, to investigate as thoroughly as they are able to. They know some of the obstacles involved, such as the effective cliffside. Real quick, I think I have. Yes. Maybe. Oh, sorry. It's doing that great Roll20 thing where the newest map all the way on the wrong side of where you want them to be. So,
yep.
Effectively, she walks you through this route of their latest expedition, and upon the success they have been granted, she starts talking you through a number of these slayed beasts as she shares stories of the voyage that their latest excursion endeavored. And as she is explaining this route to you, she kind of paints a very great picture for you as she goes, talking about the initial upriver trek northwards from the city of MistHaven through the Forgotten Forest, making sure to make use of the Trail of the Frogs left behind so that nobody in their party would get lost. But then following that stream on the other side, they continued forward past what they can only presume to be burial mounds for giants, judging by the large hills in the valley, before passing another river that led off to a pair of lakes, and an elaborate statue of some sort of well-garbed woman that they had decided to dub the Sunken Queen, that was at the fork of these rivers far to the north, and continuing to pass along through the mountains, they came about to the lip of this river space to an elaborate city built within the side of a mountain itself. And the walls of this city were not only powered by, but capable of stopping the immense force of the lake that was held on the other side.
Wow.
The city of Valyria, the damned dwarven city. And so she goes on kind of pointing out.
Question for you.
Yeah.
So this Sunken Queen, Rafal would have had to pass this on our way down back.
Yeah,
depending on the route you took.
I mean,
because this is effectively the way they took to go northward. This is
another route.
This is not effectively the continent itself. The kind of brownish black spots are the areas of the map that they did not map out themselves on this venture.
Okay. We probably would have taken the
ocean
safest
surrounding it. This is
because we actually escaped into the lake.
Yeah.
So you guys possibly went kind of this direction down this stream.
Oh.
Yeah, that's probably the way we came.
The long way around.
Well, it also would be the less likely to get chased way.
Right. But effectively, she continues to elaborate on how the fundings used from this auction are going to help benefit and further establish a link of trade between the cities of Valyria and MistHaven to provide for a prosperous future for both cities.
So, because Rafal spent so fucking much time in Valyria, does he actually like know some of the people's names that are the people that are like in charge and stuff?
I'll say yes. But your DM did not have access to that information at this time.
That's okay.
Question mark.
Basically, because all I want to do something just very broad. And
Name drop
that
a guy.
Rafal's going to make a political move, even that he name drops a little bit and saying like, hey, you know, like I'm, you know, I am who I am. I'm sure you've heard of me at this point and what that means. And if certain things go in certain directions and you support me, I know certain people in Valeria. And he's just going to kind of, kind of like not be specific about how he knows those things, but just like the fact that he knows things that she doesn't about something she's so interested in, he's going to use that to his advantage.
All right. Go ahead and roll me a persuasion check or deception check, depending on the vibe you're kind of going for.
Well, I mean, persuasion is because this is not being too deceptive, really, right?
Right.
Like, being pretty true.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It could be either.
The only lie would be
is
I'm not actually going to help you.
And then do I get advantage because of your spell, though?
Did you said you didn't want it.
The fuck yeah, I do. If I don't get that mood.
Okay. Just give me a second. And I cast.
You did it.
I was gonna do it. I cast Eagle Splendor.
Well, thank God you did, because that was a 1 on the first roll.
Jeez.
Oh, this is most fortuitous indeed. Mayhaps on the morrow you would like to discuss these matters further with the Lady Baroness Clara Gévaudan.
Much Clara Gévaudan.
Wait, run that name. Hold on. Run that name by me one more time.
The Lady Baroness Clara Gévaudan.
Abadida.
Whose family name you no doubt have heard of, as they have gained renown due to her own Lord Grandfather being the very same Gévaudan that discovered the silver bullet's affinity and effectiveness against shifters.
Ooh.
And effectively, anybody that is proficient with history would probably recognize the Gévaudan family name, as they discovered that silver is particularly effective against shifting creatures.
It just
I am proficient in
history. All right, good.
So you would recognize this family name.
Okay, and she's in MistHaven?
It seems that she is, but she'll be here at the auction tomorrow.
Ooh, I would very much like to meet her.
I'll see what I can do to set up a meeting then. Now then, and she starts leading you down the stairs to the basement, and it's...
Question, also,
Yeah.
since we're casing the joint,
Sure.
Does she do anything in particular to disable the armor or anything, or does they just ignore her because she is who she is?
They seem to be just walking by kind of on their own predetermined route. They don't seem to be paying her any particular mind, but nor are they stopping and investigating you guys.
Can
like they are walking.
Can Rafal, like, comment on them as like they walk past, and he's
absolutely
like, just like, what a interesting security feature.
Yes, it is something put together by my husband. He's more archaically gifted, and he assured us that they would be far more loyal than any servants ever would. They would cost us less in the long run.
I can imagine how that worked. A great idea.
You can never be too careful when dealing with magical items. Anyways, if you'll follow me, and she starts walking down the stairs towards the basement, and she leads you to a door that is basically kind of like the stairs go down in this U-like pattern, just 5 feet, 5 feet, 5 feet, so you're on the lower floor of this building. And she opens the wooden door there with a key, a relatively mundane lock from the looks of the iron key that she is using, pushes it open in front of her to reveal a hallway of sorts that looks to branch off to the left and to the right, that circles around, and she effectively walks you past 2 doors before turning again, and it seems that that hallway meets back up, effectively like a large rectangle. And she leads you to the farthest corner of that rectangle, whereupon there's another set of stairs that go downwards. And she pushes open the doors here. They do not appear to be locked. And she begins descending once again. And this is a roughly 10 to 15 feet of stairs that she circles around into a kind of more open basement space. There are a couple of crates, barrels, and the like just kind of stacked here for storage. But against one wall are a pair of heavy metal doors. Sorry, just one metal door. Just the one metal door. And she effectively walks you right up to it and then turns back around to face the pair of you and asks you to turn around.
Oh, yeah. Rafal will turn right around.
I will turn around as well.
And you can hear her speaking some sort of incantation before there's an audible kind of shifting of a much more mechanical means that she, with an audible click, a lock seems to be disengaged.
Check?
Sure.
Are you proficient in Arcana, Agramar?
I am.
You should roll an Arcana check.
I would love to. I was waiting for a moment. Can I try to overhear the incantation?
With a successful Arcana check.
I would love to. That's a 19 on the die for a 24.
24. Agramar, you would recognize this spell that she's effectively dispelling as Arcane Lock. Second level abjuration spell that lasts until it's dispelled.
Bale's gonna have a hard time with that one.
It effectively adds a magical enchantment that boosts the lock DC by 10 on the door.
Yep.
And you can designate who, in addition to yourself, can open the door normally, and possibly set a password that will suppress the spell for 1 minute if spoken within 5 feet of the door.
Did I hear the password?
You did not.
Can I roll a perception check to hear the password?
To retroactively hear the password?
No, I'm not going to waste a token.
You still have that contingency?
No.
All right.
I'm going to let Bale screw this one up. So. It's an arcane lock on the door.
So she pushes open this door, and she informs you that you can look now. As she steps into what looks to be a very well-organized vault display room. There looks to be rows of glass cases with a number of items on the insides of these doors. Some of them displayed across what are effectively mannequin figures along the walls. Others kind of displayed up like trophies in the rooms above in the museum, kind of in a similar fashion. Most of them don't look to be labeled by any noticeable means, but she leads you towards the center of this room where there's a row of glass display cases set up, whereupon you can clearly make out a pair of boots that look to be woven together out of leaves, a golden necklace with a set of what look to be sapphires kind of ringing the whole thing from one gemstone to the next as it circles the necklace itself. A stone that looks to be naturally formed in the shape of a cat's face with an emerald eye present. The other eye looks to be scratched out. And beside those is a kind of laying, I guess, down in front of those is a long staff that's tip looks to be carved in the shape of a python.
Okay.
So this is like a really off topic.
Go ahead.
I'm looking at the map right now that you have, and I don't know if you realized or did this on purpose, but the shape of it reminds me of the head of a phoenix.
What?
Open for interpretation.
Oh yeah, I see it.
The
I like it.
head thing, the neck, there's the wing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these are like the shoulders going
Yeah.
out,
Is it fate?
and there's like the black around it.
It even has the
Well-
This looks like an eye right here.
Upon zooming out,
Yeah.
I had a much different interpretation that I'll keep to myself.
Also possible.
You're right.
Yeah.
It does look like ovaries.
But the other couple of items that are here in these same row of glass cases are what looks to be a lute, a kind of guitar-like instrument, a cittern, that's what it's called, as well as a pair of golden spectacles with a very almost see-through clear blue crystal placed in either lens, presumably the eyes of Charming. But effectively, she gestures at the glass case with these 5 items before her and turns back to face you. So as you can see, they are here and accounted for as promised.
Well, if you would not mind, I would like to I'd like to be able to cast a non-harmful spell to just make sure that they are indeed the items that we were promised they were.
I see no reason why not to allow such. Feel free.
Thank you. And I will go, and if there's a spot to sit, I will sit down in front of the items, and I will ritual cast Identify on
Use
the
spell
necklace. What?
I said use the spell slot.
Well, I need an hour anyway, so we're gonna be here a little bit.
Fine.
Actually, I guess I could. I'll use a spell slot on Identify. Shut up, Nick. I'll use a spell slot on Identify to verify that the necklace is indeed the necklace we're looking for.
Takes you a while, but it does wind up ringing true as a necklace of adaptation.
Beautiful. So, and that's the one with the sapphires, right?
Yes, that is the golden necklace ringed with sapphires.
Making sure I take good note of that, and I will begin my channeling of divinity, placing my hands on my, well, actually for both of these, because I need the material components, placing both my hands upon my fanny pack, which is rather large for my body. I will begin casting the channel divinity creation, artisan's
So you're
blessing.
making the duplicate here?
Yeah, I thought you were gonna wait and make the duplicate.
I need to have it in my
and
presence in
get
order
it.
to make an exact copy of it.
Oh, okay. Well, then Rafal will just be chatting her up and like distracting her. Like, you need an hour of it being in your presence to do that.
If I want it to look as close as possible. Plus, if I were to say ritual cast Identify on each one of these objects, it would take me an hour anyway. So that's what I'm banking on.
How about this? How about while Rafal is regaling her with the information about Valeria and stuff like that, that like she gets like excited and distracted, and you could do it during that time?
I don't see what.
Rafal, roll me a performance check.
Sure, I have advantage on all charisma checks, so
For the next hour.
Well, not after he cast Identify, I don't think. Because that's a concentration spell, right?
Let me double
I
check.
have no idea.
Enhance ability is concentration, but Identify, I instant cast it, so I can still concentrate on enhance ability. But as soon as I start casting my ritual, then yes, it'll drop.
All right.
So, there you go. That was a wasted second level spell.
All right, so Agrimar, as you were trying to make the duplicate here, with Rafal doing his best to talk and distract this woman over the course of the next hour that you guys are down here, Agrimar, go ahead and roll me a sleight of hand check.
Okay. Come on, don't fail me, die. Not too bad. 15.
All right. So you can overhear this woman being regaled with stories about Valyria, and it's taking you a considerable amount of effort to conceal that radiant glow that has been present within every one of these castings you've done so far.
Mm-hmm.
But the extra layers of robes are helping a little bit. But eventually it comes to the point where you feel the very solid surface of the golden necklace and what feel to be smooth glass of the gemstones that you have created.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to risk looking at what you've made?
Oh, well, make sure you have the portable hole so you can slip it in there too.
Do I risk looking at it now to see how close it is? Oh, Jesus.
Nah, dog.
I have faith that I don't think there's a god that would condone what I'm doing right now, but I have a faith in you know what? I'm gonna go with sin that it came out right.
All right.
So I will just keep my hands clasped in front of my pouch, and I will stand up, stretch my neck. It looks like it is all on the up and up. Thank you for your time, my lady. I'm sorry that I was not prepared for so many wondrous items.
It is rude to make a lady blush in the presence of her own home, but I humbly accept your compliment. And I hope I see you both on the morrow.
Well, this was very enlightening. I appreciate everything, and we will see you on the morrow.
I noticed when I pulled up that my guards were giving you some problems. Have you both invitations or only the one of you?
I have two, right? Yeah, no.
Do you want to lie to her? So we can get a third in?
Oh, you're right. No,
question mark?
Invitation for myself. It was the only one I was able to secure.
Well, in that case, I do wish to see the both of you here tomorrow, and I hope that you can both enjoy in the success of this funding auction. And she kind of reaches into her own sleeve, kind of like back towards her left elbow, and pulls from a pocket a blank invitation, effectively, and begins scribbling out the name Kaido Wolfmane upon one, and effectively hands that over to Agrimar.
I bow deeply, kind of because I have to, in the space, and I take it and say, "Your graciousness knows no bounds, my lady."
Be sure to tell that to all the other noblemen whose magical items you are authenticating.
I will make sure that they know if yours are the finest in the land, and they should look up to the quality that you provide.
Oh, then have you two time for a drink, or have you other appointments to make on this night?
I have time for a drink.
A nightcap would do well.
Very well, then. And she starts making her way kind of back out from the vault, waiting patiently, not like she's trying to rush you guys or anything, but closing each of the doors behind her as she does so, and replacing each of the keys that she uses on the doors.
Shit.
And
Do
eventually,
you have to like reseal the arcane lock at all?
Well, it's 1 minute, right? It's only open for a minute.
Agrimar knows that when the magic, effectively the password's spoken, it's unlocked for 1 minute.
So so you can open the door once the door's open.
Do it again?
Yeah.
It appears as though she can just close the door.
And it will like automatically lock.
And it re-engages.
Got it. Okay.
It's like a Brinks home security system.
Hey, had to try.
But she winds up leading you guys back up and around towards the kitchens, kind of nearby the storage room at the back of the estate.
She had to take poison.
And Nari, effectively, did you come back to the property on the night before the auction?
Yeah, reselect your input.
You might be muted again.
Hear me?
Yeah.
Now we can.
Okay, that's so weird. Because it's like I change the input every time. It's never like I have to go between two. But yeah, I think we decided that I am going to be going back. But there was stuff I wanted to do at the end, but we could also honestly, like, that's not super important to this storyline, so we could even do that during the week or something. So, but yeah, I would have gone back to the inn, acting. Hooter.
All right. So as you guys are led back towards the kitchens, you recognize Gunter among some of the kitchen staff back here. And he effectively looks to be scrambling and having a little bit of difficulty immediately recognizing the cupboard for the vintage of drink that the Lady Arcona has requested. And he kind of struggles a little bit going from one cupboard to the next, to the next, to the next before he finds it. But then is able to prepare 3 glasses, one for each of you. Pouring carefully, I'm sure, only spilling a few drops after every pour.
Oh, extra, extra careful. And when he's done, he winks.
So he pours the 3 glasses and then noticeably winks at the 3 of you.
Yeah.
3 glasses.
That will be all,
Gunter.
Gunter.
To a shootout in the basement.
And he will get back to his very, very important duties.
So tell me, Lord Rafal, how long are you planning on staying in the city of MistHaven?
For now, it seems to be my place of residence until any lucrative prospects occur.
Is that so? What sort of work do you do? What sort of prospects should I be on the lookout for?
Well, archaeological digs have become a new fascination of mine. A recent friend of mine has really piqued my interests with those sorts of things. So that is one of, my main interests currently.
Respectable. And you?
Oh.
Lord Wolfbane?
Sadly, I have not crept my way up to grab that particular title. No, I'm simply an advisor and a close friend of Lord Rafal here. No, I I'd like to investigate things of the divine, which goes along with the archaeology. The gods are quite mysterious, and I feel like there can be a lot that we can learn about them.
Yes, indeed. And she kind of raises her own wine glass upwards in a bit of a toast, and in Dwarvish she speaks out. As strong as their hammers ring out to oppress us, we forever will continue to build onward.
Oh,
What the fuck?
I bet the two of us fucking hate this saying, don't we? Oh,
Probably, yeah.
Is that a Valerian, Hail
Oh.
Hitler shit?
More or less.
Oh man!
Oh,
All right.
all right.
Flawless Dwarven. The two of us repeat it.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
In flawless Dwarven.
Flawless. May their hammers draw whatever you said.
Insert saying here.
Insert very bigotry and
No,
righteous statement.
I want to do it in Rafal's voice. What's the saying again?
I'm not positive because it came out a whole lot better than I thought it would. Something else, so I'm probably going to have to recheck the VOD for that. But more or less, for so long as their hammers oppress us, we continue to build forward.
So long as their hammers oppress us, we will continue to go forward.
I concur. I think it's something about ringing out in the night. Oh, that was so good. Oh, it gave me chills.
Like I'm saying, I'm going to have to go for the VOD for that.
Don't you hate that when you just totally roll something off the top of your head? You're like, what the hell was that? So good.
Something I wanted to say too. I wanted to take particular note of what the guards were wearing, and maybe if I could identify one of the guards that was guarding the way down to the basement, so that we can describe that to Bale, so he can know what to look like. Because doesn't he have disguise self? I think he said he does.
I believe so.
So he'll be able to disguise himself as one of the guards to maybe get through to that part.
All right, and when you guys come back to the Phoenix Feather Inn on this night, timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly, Nari's also able to help reassure your story and kind of exchange details, and you guys find out that the guards posted at the top of the stairs are not the same guard, or effectively are not allowed down in the basement. By what Nari has picked
it'll
up.
get him past.
Right, you can.
It'll get him to that point.
He's got these.
It'll get him past the golems, hopefully.
Right.
That's what I'm worried about. I don't want him triggering that trap.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh no, he's fucked.
No. He has his contingency point. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
This is working out well. I like how our heist is going
So good.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far, but it's we still haven't even stolen it yet, though. So
yeah, but that's how heists go. But still, this is awesome. Okay, so next, we have lots of good information. We have a fake item. Oh, we can check it out.
Yes, I would like to look at the item that I created.
Agrimar, the item you created looks near identical to the item that you were watching.
3 be blessed. I am probably going to get smitten for this.
It's okay. And then Rafal and Agrimar will will add to the map that we already have, the layout of the basement and where everything was located and stuff like that. So Bale can plan it out. We'll put door here, door here, door here. This one was unlocked. This one was locked. This is the arcane lock.
This is a glass case. This is a glass case. This is a glass case.
This is where this one is located. This is this item, this item, this item.
Oh. Damn. Forgot to look while I was in there if there was anything else of note.
Doesn't matter. We're only stealing one thing.
What if there was a +3 Holy Avenger in there?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Rafal has principles, all right? We might be stealing from these people, but you know what? We don't need to steal everything. We just need to steal this one thing so that Broderick doesn't kill Bale. We're doing it for a good reason.
Yeah, you want to make sure that this trade route happens.
You know what? We'll just mention it to Bale that, hey, you are still in debt to us, so maybe you can pick out something else. That's
No, bad. Stop it. No, he's walking a good path.
I do want to make sure we know you did go speak with the person about, bidding, so you really better make that bid war look believable.
Well, I mean, we said we were interested. We didn't say we were going to try whatever we could to buy.
Yeah, but when one comes up missing afterwards and people mysteriously decide they don't want to buy stuff after they looked at it and said, oh, yeah, it's definitely authentic, and then it comes up not authentic, you probably don't want to be under the suspicion.
Yeah, but it's okay because all that does is damage the reputation of Wolfmane dude. Not any doesn't. Yeah, it's just his reputation that's damaged.
Wolfmane is a fraud.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have a feeling I'm gonna get caught in this. I'm the only 8'9" person in the entire city.
Yeah, right. What?
Well, no, I mean, like what we just did is perfectly normal. Like,
can I set Bickerstaff up as a doppelganger and put him down in case the fuzz comes after me?
No.
We're kind of the same, right?
Shave his face and head in the middle of the night. Dress him up in purple paint.
I just see him like lying in bed, waking up, and like there's like that episode of Critical Role with the half-ass paint job on his face. I'm tired, guys. You have to forgive me.
I can tell. You never laughed this much.
It's just funny in my head. It's really funny in my head. Okay, guys, let's finish this heist.
Yep. We'll finish it next week.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna need Bale.
Yeah, we kind of got like 20 minutes left. If there's anything you guys want to do, any health potions you want to buy or the like, you can stock up.
I ain't got no money.
I am seeing how much total money I have. 1 second.
I'm gonna put my armor back on for the night.
Another prayer to Kronos since he kind of bailed on me during my thing. But we could do that in the week, or we could do it now since we have 20 minutes. It's up to you.
Well, Nari, there is still the matter of you spending the night on the property.
Oh, that's right. You're not spending it in the inn.
Because you said you wanted to go back.
So I guess I never did spend the night in the inn. Yeah, so, okay, I'm going to have to wait on that. Wobbly stuff.
So, Nari, how would you like to spend this night, the night before the auction at the Arconis auction house?
I'm going to be very tired, guys.
The servants' quarters consist of 4 beds lined up side by side in a fairly small room.
Yeah, that will be fun. I want to make sure I have extra blankets on me.
Are you trying to pull those blankets off of the other servants' beds?
No, but
there's not a surplus of blankets in the servants' chamber.
I want to make sure that I'm definitely covered at nighttime. Burrito style, tuck myself in.
All right.
At nighttime, and then even pull the blanket up over my head and the pillow over my head. Basically under everything in case I wake up and, startled and someone's like, why the fuck is there a massive cat in here? And I'm like, what? Where? And all of a sudden I'm a person again. And it's like, oh, you guys were talking about me? That you guys must have been seeing stuff. So hopefully, everyone sleeps through the night and doesn't wake up.
Tell you what, Nori, I'll give you your choice of a stealth or a sleight of hand check. Or another role I'm willing to hear an argument for, at disadvantage to help disguise yourself while you are sleeping.
I'll do stealth, but you said a disadvantage?
At disadvantage because you're sleeping.
Okay.
So effectively to see if an arm lolls out from your burrito of blankets while you're sleeping, kind of a thing.
Luck, guys. This could blow the whole thing right here.
Or you take exhaustion and stay up all night.
No, Mari doesn't.
21.
21!
Fuck yeah!
All right.
Was the other one a natural? Oh my god, a natural 18.
Damn.
Jeez.
Not too shabby. As Nari, you're one of the first ones up in the morning, still nearly strangled because of how tightly you have wrapped yourself up in these blankets. Enough that you have not moved 1 inch from the position that you fell asleep in and find yourself almost choking across the blankets wrapped around your face. But effectively with that, we can pick up next week at the start of the day of the auction.
How much was the value of that duplicate I made, Ryan?
That would be...
I'm not making, obviously, the item itself, so it's not going to be that expensive.
Right. I would say probably like 100 gold is worth of gold. Let me double
So
check.
max out what I can do with that feature. Oh. Okay.
Let me double check
Dwarf.
the jewelry.
That was fun.
That was fun. Jesus.
I thoroughly enjoyed that.
And he was worried that Bale was gonna die. I wasn't gonna let Bale die.
Not yet. We'll
I
wait till
would've.
next week. Oh, man. Now we just have to figure out how Bale can get in there in the 10 minutes given. You know, then sneak
Lucas,
around.
question for Agrimar. Are you
Yeah.
making the necklace with real gold and real gemstones? Because that'll up the price to 250 gold. For the
I'm
I
just
item.
would-
throwing this out there that Bickerstaff has real gold and real gemstones.
I can only do up to 100 gold's worth of items.
So at
So,
the very least, some of those gemstones are probably made out of glass.
it's just got to be passable enough for him to make the trade.
Just has to be passable enough. So we'll see what happens.
It's all I can do. I mean, that was my help.
So you say. That's a pretty big amount of help.
I mean, if it's passable enough, it's something divine. So now it's just on the hands of Bale. Make it work.
Oh, jeez.
Lordy Lord.
Yeah, I have no coin. I mean, if only we had a little bit of coin, then we could just buy it. You know?
Yeah, but it's like what? What did you say? Like 1,900 gold?
It's 1,500 in the same magic prices.
Yeah, that's still kind of insane. I don't have that much.
Quick.
Yeah, but for auction, you can get it for cheaper,
Before
maybe.
anything else, Nari goes to Bickerstaff and gets 2 more golds worth of silver because otherwise she will never be able to get out of there again because you will have no more silver.
I'm stuck
Okay,
here forever.
Can you
So-
change me out, please?
that's what 200 silver, right? 2 gold's worth.
Isn't it?
No, that's 20 silver.
20 silver. Okay, so this is down
Like
to
200, like that sounds
Wow,
good, but
that's like 20 golds worth. That's like what you paid for that guy to never come
Bickerstaff
out
just
again.
absentmindedly hands her 200 gold. I
thank
don't
you.
know the difference.
Whoops.
I do need that 20
Wait,
gold.
so if Bickerstaff has 2,900 copper, how much gold is that?
29.
Yeah, it's 100 to 1.
So that's 29, and then he has 100. He has 1,150 silver.
11.
So that's
150.
115 gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then He has 130 gold, and then he has 40 platinum, which is 400 gold, right?
Yep.
So Bickerstaff's got like 674 gold.
Something like that.
I thought platinum pieces were 5 gold, not 10.
Platinum or 10?
They're 10. Everything's base 10.
What are the 5 ones? Wasn't there some that were 5?
Electrum, but yeah.
No one
That's
uses
why we
Electrum.
don't use
No
it.
one.
Garbage.
That's shitty. It's like having pennies or nickels. Nobody uses them.
Oh,
There was one, I swear.
but that's like all the funds for like the inn and stuff.
Bickerstaff's investing in Electrum very heavily.
Because nobody wants to
It's like
steal it.
Bitcoin. It's gonna take off.
It's
Nobody
like
wants to
free
steal
money.
Electrum.
What was the lady baroness's name? I don't think you ever typed that out.
And there's an accent over the E in Gévaudan.
Gévaudan.
So,
Because it's based on the actual French family that is from real world lore about silver bullets and werewolves and shit. I heard that and I was like, that's dope. So
Sold. Stealing it.
you're French now.
did the dwarf guy ever show up? Do we know who he is yet? Is it Lieutenant? That would be
Monsieur Dwarf.
Mr. Dwarf, Liam.
Tell you what, Nari, roll me an intelligence check.
He's not a dwarf. He's a tiefling in disguise.
He's the queen. What? Wait,
What?
she's not a dwarf. This is a bad twist. Brian?
That was a natural one.
That's a good way to end
No
it.
idea, Nari.
Probably here somewhere. No big deal.
So have you guys decided on your characters for next week?
No, I need to do that now that you mentioned it.
So right now.
You'll have
work to
1
do on
week
those
to level up
lightsabers.
3 times.
Right?
Oh my god. We did it 3 times.
Choices.
Oh my
I need
God.
to do that tonight. That's what I'm gonna do.
That's not a bad idea.
I've been so nervous. I've been checking Roll20 and D&D Beyond. I'm like, did they update the characters? Did they update? Oh, they didn't update the characters. I was excited too.
I was DMing last night. I was focused on that all week. And
Yeah.
I did a good job. I introduced my bad guy, and it was
Right?
epic as fuck.
Big bad guy even
I'm
got
so
away
jealous.
after making their lecturing
I
speech,
want to play in a Nick campaign.
despite our best efforts to just
They got
kill her.
attacked by a zombie horde, and they ran away like pussies.
I mean, you say ran away. I say definitely circled those zombies and kited them around the arena to get some good shots off on the head necromancer lady.
Yep, but
Is there
her
we didn't get, so
concentration
we have
was
to call her the
sound,
bad
and she
guy.
got the
I know!
fire.
I rolled so low on my nat 20 to hit her. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, this
I
is
was just
bad
like, wait, it
damage.
was only like 12 damage.
I know.
Well, she smoked that concentration check.
Yep.
I'm gonna try and do that this week, but all my stuff here. But it's okay. I'll steal Ryan's house and be like, "Hey, Ryan, you have all the D&D stuff. Help me
Good
let
to know I need to lock all my doors.
Good thing is that Amanda, you can go on to D&D Beyond on your phone, log into your account,
Yeah.
and everything is there because I'm sharing it with you. So all your character creation stuff will be in there.
I need to double check if I made Cell right, because I think when I made her, I guesstimate. I think I went back and fixed it, but I haven't gone back. and double-
I think I went back and fixed everyone's character to match up with Roll20. So
Perfect.
they should be good.
That's awesome.
I rolled not terribly for hit points. 3 levels, I'm going to get 20 more hit
Let's
points.
do that right
Oh,
now.
yeah, I can do that right now. What do you guys got?
Let me get in
D6s
this
for
bitch.
3d6.
6, 5, and a 1.
6, 5, and a 1. I will take the 6 and the 5. For a fact, because my first 2 was a 5 and a 3.
Nice. What do you got, Nick? A D10?
Oh yeah, you know it, baby.
You want 3 of them?
3d10, let's do this.
9 on the first one.
Nice.
5 on the second.
I got
4
an 8.
on the third.
I got a 9.
God, I'm never gonna be able to kill the fucking Amic.
I got 989.
He's got, how much HP do you have now?
Oh, give me a second. Okay, so that's 12.
I guarantee my hit points are better than Amic's now. I guarantee it.
Amic hit triple digits
You know
at level
why?
7, right?
12 plus 11 is 23, plus another 12 is 35.
Did you double your hit points?
Just about, yeah. But now I got 69 hit points.
Nice.
I have 137.
Oh my
Who
god.
needs health?
Fighters. Level 10
And
fighters.
68 before I rolled. So,
Alright, what is your hit die, Amanda?
D8s.
D8s. Alright.
She got 2 7s. That's really good.
5,
yeah, 7 1
7. So
Nice.
7 for the second one. Then a 7 for the third.
7.
7 7 7.
777.
I'm so lucky I win the lottery. Yay! So 21.
You know what?
plus-
You guys have done so well in this campaign for health. I don't think anyone's rolled below average on their characters for health.
Oh, Ryan has.
Oh, yeah. I took a few low ones before.
Yeah, but with my, I don't think that, I mean, with my rolling, you've gone pretty high too, though. You just got a D6.
Oh, I'm almost maxed out.
Yeah, it's obnoxious. I have no way of killing Nick
Plus
without
5 for-
destroying
right?
everyone else. I'm just gonna have to
Stop.
attack your saves, Nick. Attack your saves.
You don't have to do anything.
I'm just gonna hurt everyone's real life brain with my
You're just going to kill
time travel
everyone that you
bullshit.
love.
See, my theory is don't design around the party. Just design what would actually happen.
Yeah, no. I was actually kind of hoping that you guys would ignore what I said and go to the tomb, because you probably all would have died.
It's still a very distinct possibility.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you guys have any questions about whatever, just Skype me or text me or whatever.
Still do that.
I'm gonna head out of here because I gotta go to work early. So I'll see you all next week.
All right. Adios, sir.
Have a good one.
And goodbye, everyone, in the Twitch stream. We are heading off, and next week will be Star Wars The Void Reaver. Same time at 6 o'clock Eastern to 10 o'clock Eastern. Hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.